I did.
On the audio recording?
I did.
Do we have enough space?
We do. So
Well,
it's all good.
Do we have enough?
All right, folks. This is the sound check portion. Let me know how we sound. Dave, question for you: is pimping easy?
Yes.
That is correct.
And it sure is fun.
Yeah. Though Big Daddy Kane would say it ain't easy.
Well, I mean, depends on who you are, I guess.
Right.
That's true. Pimping ain't easy, but it sure is fun.
All right,
How do we
folks.
sound? How do we act?
I know-
Act!
No, here we
Act!
go.
Act! 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 Act!
I'd like to thank Dragon Buddy for
Gag,
planting that seed right in the beginning
Act! Act! Act!
before we even went live. Oh, Jesus Christ. Hey, Tevin, what's going on?
Act! Act! Ah.
Stop trying to knife the laptop. Kristen says we sound good.
Put the knife hand.
Oh, we got Brady in the chat.
Wow. So everyone's excited to talk about Book of Boba Fett.
I know, right?
All right, so if we sound ack, then
Are we like actually looking to start?
yeah, why not?
All right.
We got peeps. We got peeps listening.
Okay. Just making sure.
Gak, 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 gak.
Let's get it all out of your system now.
Oh no. It's there's some random acts that are gonna end up happening, sadly.
Is Chantal in the chat? She's the one who started all this shit last week.
Is she really?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Pretty sure that was her.
Oh, where's the she has that review. She posted a review.
Yes. That's not in your read?
It is not. It was a screenshot.
All right, let me see if I can find it.
I think it was in our group chat.
I don't think that's a review. It's just a comment.
Well, she said it says in the comment, "This is my review."
Consider this my review, but it's not an actual review.
Who cares? It says review. We can't we can't discourage this behavior. We need people to. Maybe she doesn't. Maybe she's not on a platform where she can leave a review.
I don't believe that's true at all. Ever. She's clearly on, what is this, Facebook?
Instagram. It looks like.
Instagram. You can leave reviews on Instagram, I think. You can on Facebook, I know that for sure. And if you're on Instagram, you're probably on Facebook.
That's not true at all. I don't think we should be discouraging this type of behavior.
But it's not a review, it's just a comment. What are we going to start reading every comment on all of our videos and Instagram posts?
If it gets us more fucking traffic,
Will it get us more traffic, though, if somebody just comments?
listen, pimping ain't easy.
All right, you got me. That's... Ugh, Jesus fucking Christ. Ow.
Oh, Don's here.
Oh, man, we got the whole crew.
Now we can start.
Yeah.
Don's here. We can start.
Yep.
Ack, 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 ack.
All right. Fuck, did you turn that heat off?
Yes.
God, it's really hot in here all of a sudden. All right. Well, I guess whenever you're ready, do the countdown, and we'll get going.
Yeah.
Even though it is early.
We're within our takeoff time. It's fine.
We're with it. We're hip.
Hip.
What a great movement. Moment. Star Wars Podcast Day.
Star Wars Podcast Day.
Cheers. So, this is February 7th.
It is.
The anniversary of the very first Star Wars podcast.
It is.
Before they were even known as podcasts.
Yes.
You got anything else to say about that?
Happy Star Wars Podcast Day 2022, Jason. That's what it says.
Okay.
Oh, and it also says the very first Star Wars podcast, Jedi Talk, which ran from 1999 to 2002, premiered 23 years ago today.
Nice.
On February 7th, 1999. Where were you February 7th, 1999?
I was deployed.
Nice.
Yeah, one of the, I think this was one of the times that Saddam kicked the weapons inspectors out. And we'd build up forces over in the Middle East.
Were you in Al Dhafra?
No. I was always in either Oman or Spain. One of those two.
So yeah, I think I was in, I'm pretty sure I was actually in Incirlik.
Oh, sure.
And at this point, yeah, I was for Northern Watch. I was deployed also, ironically. So 23 fucking years ago. Anyway, the word podcast didn't even exist yet. It was referred to as an internet radio show. This has become a worldwide event, this Star Wars Podcast Day. And we are a part of 98 podcasts participating this year. So it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. And we're part of it.
We are a part of it. And you know what? It's not. There's no such thing as saturation when it comes to Star Wars. I mean, obviously.
Well,
that'd be like saying that there's too many pops.
Right.
There could never be too many pops. And there could never be too many Star Wars podcasts because Star Wars is... There's so much that can be said.
There's so much content and everybody's got their own opinion on it.
That's right.
So.
And everyone else's opinion besides ours is obviously wrong, but you can listen to their opinion and then come to the right opinion and listen to our podcast.
Absolutely.
Except for the other Red 5 people that talk about Star Wars because their stuff is closer to being right because they're part of the Red 5 network.
I'll agree with that. Is that it?
That's it.
All right. You want to talk about Patreon a little bit?
That's your read, not mine.
All right. Well, if you're enjoying the Sidebar Cantina's content and shenanigans, consider becoming one of our Patreon supporters. For as little as $1 a month, you can support this podcast and help make it possible for us to continue to bring you quality content week after week. Disclaimer, quality is subjective. Your mileage may vary. We'd like to give a huge shout out to our current patrons, Shotgun Mark, Frank Kulovich, Frederick Martin, Tony Ferrari, Chad Vickers, Scott and Kim from the Used and Abused podcast, Ivo G, Kristen Roskam, Nick from Swede Studios, Catherine Rennick, and my wonderful mother-in-law, Patricia Goodstein. We appreciate each and every one of you. If you'd like to consider becoming a supporter, you can find us at our Patreon, patreon.com/thesidebarcantina. Our Patreon page is also a great place to give us your opinions regarding show topics and the direction of the podcast in general. Do you want to see Dave show off his Funko Pops? Are there not enough snaps? As a patron, we would be contractually obligated to listen to your opinion. Thank you again to all of our listeners and supporters. You are the reason why we do this.
Nice. Nicely done.
And that's all I have to say about that. Anything else on Red 5 before we get into our weeks?
Oh, we could have a shout out to the Star Wars Journey with Ashley and Brandy, who just celebrated their 1-year podcast anniversary.
Nice.
And have another shout out to Charles and Pat from Conversations, who celebrated their 3rd podcast anniversary last week.
Man, what anniversary are we about to hit? In May?
5 years.
Yeah, because we started in 17.
Yep.
Before The Last Jedi. Before our spirits were broken.
Yes.
Temporarily.
But we have things, happy things.
Yes.
That have happened. And
yes, the healing has officially begun.
We have our Bacta spray.
Yeah.
That's helping heal this fucking Darksaber wound.
Yeah. Black Kyrgyzstan is not hovering outside of our back to tank,
Right.
so we're good to go.
Yet. Congratulations to both awesome podcasts. Check them out on the bio.link/red5. That's bio.link/red5, where you can find all the Red 5 podcasts. More Red 5 stuff after the end of the show.
Alrighty. This or that has gotten moved to the main topic portion again of the show. But Dave, we didn't actually talk about it. What are we talking about this week?
What else is there to talk about? We are deviating from what we had. Listen. If you've listened to us for more than, I don't know, fucking 5 or 6 episodes, you realize that our pattern of behavior is very, very, random sometimes.
Squirrel.
Yeah. And we try really, really hard for Luna Girl's benefit, to be honest, to plan out when our shows are going to be.
Yeah, because quite frankly, half the time before she came along, we'd be like, well, what do you want to talk about next week?
Yeah.
You know? Like midweek, like on Thursday, we'd be like, all right, we really should figure out what the hell we're going to talk about on Monday.
Yep. And unless it's like something that's some major milestone that's going to hit, like,
Sure.
the release of a movie or some shit like that. So the fact that we have these things planned out, when episode 5 came out of the Book of Boba Fett, we were like, okay, we're still okay. And then when episode 6 of the Book of Boba Fett came out, we're like, fuck, we cannot withhold. We can't wait to get 5, 6, and 7 at the same time. We have to talk about it right meow. So we're going to talk about it.
Yes. Chapters 5 and 6 of the Book of the Mandalorian we're going to be talking about today.
Book of Mandalorian, or otherwise known as Mandalorian 2.5.
Right. So we're going to get into all that when we get to our main topic. But first, we're going to get into our weeks. This kind of involves both of us. We talked about it last week. I think it was last week. How we're planning on firing up Battlefront 2 again.
Right.
Giving it another go. Going back to that abusive boyfriend. And you know what? It's actually working out. It's not as bad as my memory is like making me think it was back in the day.
Yeah.
There's still some frustrations, but I think the way that we've been playing, we got away from Blast a little bit, which was fun. And some of the Blast maps, like some of the newer maps, are actually designed a lot better to where you're not just like spawn dead, spawn dead, spawn dead.
Yeah. Overall, I think that they made some improvements. I think they made improvements on the kind of like the time it takes to actually get back into the game after you, like, for the respawn timing. I think they've made some improvements there, so you're not spending so much time like staring at a menu.
Yeah.
So that's actually been good. So it makes it a little bit more playable. I still feel like weapons are nerfed way too much. Like, I feel like some people are so overpowered, and then the weapons that I have, even, I'm not like leveling wise, I'm not on the lowest tier. I'm probably right around the middle, and from a weapon standpoint, I have a lot of things that are leveled up considerably.
Yeah,
and still don't have the same firepower.
Yeah, there's a noticeable power level difference between guys at our level and then the guys that have been probably playing and grinding this from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Because they're the guys that like, boom, one-shot us, where you're fucking like unloading. I've got like this heavy gun. I'm like unloading in your fucking face, and you're just standing there like...
Yeah. Headshots aren't really like a thing. So there's definitely some aspects of it that are frustrating. But overall, it's nice to hear the music.
Yep.
It's nice to see Star Wars and be able to run around in it.
The thing I'll give Battlefront 2 over Battlefront 1 is, even though Battlefront 1 takes place in the best era, the original trilogy era, you get all of the aesthetic and the music and everything from the original trilogy. There is no deviation from that. Whereas in Battlefront 2, you get the prequels.
Yep.
And playing as battle droids sometimes is actually very humorous.
Yes.
As you're listening to them talking to each other. And it does go into the sequel era too. So it crosses all three eras, which is a big benefit, which I wish the first Battlefront would do that.
Yeah. But it's been fun. I'm definitely logging some time in there. Some of my first person shooter time that I value over some other things, I'm dedicating to some Battlefront 2. So
we were just playing last night actually.
Yeah,
so
it was nice.
Good times.
We should have put it on our Twitch stream. That probably would have been a good idea.
Yeah, we didn't play for very long though either. So
this is true.
I don't know how good of a
true.
stream
Well, it took somebody like a while to get out to the studio.
That's a great segue into my next bullet point, actually. So I talked about getting back to the gym last week, and I did. Starting Wednesday, I reactivated my account over at my gym here in the neighborhood, and I went 3 days, did 2 upper body workouts, and then I did a leg day on Saturday, I want to say. And for some reason, I'm like working legs. I'm like, oh, this is going great. I feel like I'm almost able to lift what I was able to before I got hurt. So I really pushed it. And I'm like, ooh, I might be hurting tomorrow. Next day I was hurting pretty bad, but then yesterday, no wait, I did the legs on Friday. So Saturday I was hurting. Sunday, yesterday was bad. Like I couldn't be on my feet kind of bad. I had to crawl, literally. Ask Kristen, I was crawling around the house for part of the day whenever I did have to move from like my desk to the bathroom or something. It was really, really bad. Today I'm still hobbling. If you're watching when we take a break later and I have to get up, you'll see me like shuffle my way out the door.
I'm hoping that Kristen actually posts the video that she showed me earlier.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, she can post it on a Discord, and that'll have limited release, so at least it won't be public.
Indeed.
So just our dedicated fans that are following our Discord server.
Yes, and if you're following me on social media, you will notice I've been posting gym selfies again,
right?
As Bronco Fett mentioned in the chat. So, yep, I am back in the gym posting selfies. Follow me on Instagram at Darth Roskam for all of the gym selfies because they'll be coming fast and furious once my legs.
Yeah, once he can actually walk and get and operate a motor vehicle.
Yes. So that's really it for my week. Keeping it short and sweet because we got a lot of Star Wars shit to talk later. So I'm going to turn it over to you, good sir.
Indeed. Speaking of Star Wars shit, I think I'm pretty sure I talked about it last week how I was working on the Ronin book.
Yes.
So I finished that.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting. I want to say it was good, but there's a part of me that wishes it was there was a part of me that wishes that I knew it was canonical somehow. Like it had some element to what was going on in the Star Wars universe.
Right.
And I think that if that was the case, then I could have bought into it a little bit more.
And this is the book that's based off of the one sketch from Visions, right?
Right.
Yeah.
that
samurai
first one. Yeah.
The samurai Jedi guy.
Yeah, it was that first one. Mm-hmm. And it was a good story. It was well told. I think it was well written. If you're into that type of storytelling, with samurai and things like that, I think it's good. But is it a absolute must read? I don't know.
Okay.
It's because there's other things that you could be reading, like Thrawn. So I've read the first 2 Thrawn books of the most recent trilogy. I showed you how thick the fucking third book is.
It's like almost 400 or 550 pages.
Yeah. So I'm just starting the third Thrawn book in the it's the Ascendancy trilogy, right?
Yeah.
So just started that. Hopefully I'll get that finished this week and be able to report on that for the next episode. And hopefully it'll be good. And then I can get caught up on the High Republic stuff. I know you're not into the High Republic stuff. I read that first book and I got away from it just because there was other stuff. And like I've talked about this before. I read in spurts, right? It's just something like I'm a voracious reader when I'm like in that mode.
You're a racist reader? What?
Voracious reader.
Sorry.
And I read in spurts, right? So I'll read like 5-6 books at a shot, and then I'll be like, all right, I'm done reading for like fucking 3 months. I won't pick up another book, and then I'll kind of like slowly come back to it. So it's weird. I have this weird reading thing.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense.
But while I'm doing that, I'm also listening to an audiobook about fucking black holes and other astrophysics fucking shit. So, and we'll save those conversations for when we do the Star Wars astronomy pod that we usurped our Star Wars astronomy conversation that we were going to have today for Star Wars Podcast Day. We're going to do that at a later date.
Yeah, I think we have a date for that now. It's sometime in March. Luna Girl knows.
Yeah.
She's been keeping track of all this stuff.
Look out for that. And we both have copies of the Star Wars Atlas too to be able to reference. So,
which that Star Wars Atlas is pretty fucking awesome.
It is awesome for $15 too. $15 on Amazon.
Yeah,
you can get this thing, and the pictures are amazing, and there's really good maps on there. Like worth it, totally worth it. It was a good call.
Yeah.
See you, Ro. Ro was in the chat. The Red 5 Podmaster. What else?
The Podfather, as we call him.
Oh, Podfather. What did I say? Podmaster?
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway. So I put in the notes, like, I have this while I'm in this reading method. I think there's actually some correlation with when I'm like really reading a lot, or I have this like desire to fucking get my master's degree started. And then like after my reading pushes over and I've squirted all that out, then I'm like at this thing like I don't really feel like doing any school, and then I have to wait for that to come back up again to start thinking about my master's again.
So, well, let me ask you,
Okay,
why?
my master's?
Yeah.
Because I want to teach at a college.
Okay.
Really, that's I mean the only reason. Well, it's not the only reason. The other thing would be to make like a higher GS rank. Having a master's degree would benefit me.
Okay.
Not required, but it would definitely be a benefit.
Fair enough.
But I want to be able to go teach fucking like basic, like a physics 140 class at the community college.
Okay.
Like go and stand and do a lecture and talk about fucking how lift works and how forces are applied and Bernoulli's principle and shit like that. That's what I want to do. And
Now that makes sense, and that seems like your type of thing.
Yeah,
I get that.
That's the only. Honestly, it's the only reason. I did it. I got to do it today. I got to kind of do. I was really a lecture for a crew resource management thing, and I miss it. I miss teaching. I miss being up in that environment.
Yeah.
It's very dynamic. If you're doing it right, it's very dynamic, and could be very gratifying. A lot more gratifying than sitting behind a computer and fucking just banging away at fucking spreadsheets and shit. Because that's basically what my life is right now. But, and honestly, like Chantal is talking about in the, or General Shinobi is talking about in the chat, with the virtual college, like there are,
Like read the message and then look at the picture. Sorry, squirrel.
is that earlier?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that was earlier. I drove past that. The car on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bombed out. I was like, I got stuck in that traffic a little bit.
Huh.
But yeah, I just gotta get off the pot and just get started because it's gonna happen eventually. I just need to fucking go and do it. Do it.
It's funny because at this point, if I ever do any more education at all, it's just going to be for more cybersecurity certs. I don't think I'll ever even get my bachelor's at this point because A, I don't give a shit, and B, it's not really necessary for what I'm doing.
All right. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I had thoughts about doing going into an MPA program basically, which is public administration masters, and it's a lot of it'd be a lot of working with nonprofits and administering
Nonprofit.
yeah, and working in the community and a local
Community. Ugh,
right?
God.
Yeah, local government and shit like
God,
that.
who are you?
Yeah, it's all the shit that I'm fucking totally busy with on the other side.
You got to be selfish, man. Think about yourself for once.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm probably not going to do that and get a master's in fucking human factors instead. So
See, I respected it when you like, oh yeah, I'm doing this for like a higher GS level. It's for more pay. It's like, okay, I can totally respect that. But now you're talking about like serving your fucking community and all this other shit.
no,
bad.
I told you I'm not doing that.
Okay. Even the fact that thought crossed your mind it just disappoints me.
I know it's terrible.
Yeah.
Hey, Starlight Digest.
Hello.
We got all kinds of our Star Wars pod friends jumping in today on Star Wars Podcast Day.
Indeed. Just as we're about to get to our main topic, too.
That's right. We are. Let's jump right into our main topic.
All right. So, first
banging.
of all, I can't imagine anybody watching or listening to the audio at this point has not seen chapters 5 and 6. Like, if you haven't, for whatever reason, and you're still watching or listening to us right now, what is wrong with you? Because we're going to be talking about spoilers galore, and we're going to move right to this or that, which also has spoilers and speculation of things that take place after the 2 episodes we're about to talk about.
Yes.
Because our social media director, Luna Girl, puts up a poll on our Instagram. And what is our Instagram, Dave?
At the Sidebar Canteen.
And she gives you 2 options. You select an option, and we go over the results here on the show. And we're talking about cameos for the final episode. So we've got quite a few cameos that we're going to be talking about in these 2 episodes.
Indeed.
So she wants to know, who do we think is going to show up in this last episode, starting with Captain Rex or Hunter?
I went with Rex.
Yeah,
out of those
he's
2 options.
Yeah, between the two, like Rex seems far more likely than Hunter to show up because Hunter is not really related to any of this, and Rex is kind of
Well, Rex
related to some
Rex
of
has
this.
it seems like he has these side quests going on where he's like working with the rebellion and kind of like in this part of this grassroots movement.
Yeah.
That I feel like would be more likely to kind of randomly come across him.
And you got to remember too, this is post Return of the Jedi. We're
Right.
talking a few years after. We know he fought on Endor,
Right.
So, but we don't know what the hell he did after that. We don't know. Like he could have died on Endor for all we know at this point.
Right. And Luna Girl is clarifying that this topic was really a game of let's pretend. So this
Of
is
course, yeah, it's all in good fun. We know most of these people are not going to show up, but it's always fun to talk
we
about.
shall see.
Yep. Oh fuck. Oh, my brother just texted me and I lost my spot.
You only did the first one, Jason. So
I know. Well, I know, but
how could you get that lost?
Well, no, it's like I'm
quickly.
in Lunar Girl's text.
That fucking
and then my
quickly?
brother texts me, and,
And
and then it switched over to his text stream. All right. Then we've got Hondo versus Bosk. Oh, hold on. We didn't say the results. Rex won 79% to 21%.
Indeed.
Yeah. So yeah, Hondo versus Bosk. I went with Bosk. A, because if I never see or hear Hondo again in my life, I won't be heartbroken. And B, like we've already seen the Bosk people, the Trandoshans,
Right.
all over fucking Tatooine in
Yeah.
Book of Boba Fett. So him showing up is not really that far-fetched.
Agreed. Yeah. Same.
Yeah, but it was pretty split. Bosk only won 52% to 48%.
I'm sure there's people that like Hondo, and how many. It's a pirate, right? Getting more pirates involved in the show. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah. Then we move over to the Ladies of Rebels. Hera Syndulla versus Sabine Wren.
So this was a tough one because if you were thinking about this seriously, right? Mm-hmm. We know that Hera has a fairly long history, in this universe, and she's a Twi'lek, and we know I have an infatuation with Twi'leks. So
yes, you do.
I went with Hera, but I am curious as to how Sabine's, her story plays out.
Yeah. And I think there's no way that we don't get some sort of Sabine appearance in this Favreau Filoni universe at this point, because talking about chapter 5, especially when the armorer is talking to Mandalorian about fucking the Darksaber and the legends and then the Night of a Thousand Tears and everything.
Right.
A lot of that wraps into fucking Sabine giving the fucking Darksaber to Bo-Katan as
Right.
opposed to losing it in combat. So we'll get into that when we start talking about the episodes. So I went with Sabine. She seems far more likely to end up in this universe than Hera. Not that Hera wouldn't, because she's so entrenched in what was the Rebellion and probably now the Republic. She's probably got a pretty prominent role in the Republic at this stage in Star Wars canon. So,
And she does, because she's in the books.
what books?
And the books post Republic stuff. I don't remember which books.
Well, if you're talking about the Rebels books, that all takes place before
no,
the original
it's not
trilogy.
the Rebels books. Shit. God damn it.
Well, she's not in the Aftermath books, if that's what you're
not Aftermath.
insinuating.
It's pew pew space books.
All right, somebody needs to help Dave out in the chat, but we're gonna move on. Sabine won, by the way, 74% to 26%, as she should have. Yeah. This is a good one. Which guy would it be cooler to see, Thrawn or Admiral Akbar?
Thrawn.
Yeah, I mean, we know we're gonna see Thrawn
Yeah.
at some point. They shoved it right in our faces during season 2 of Mando. They're like, look what you're gonna see soon.
Right.
Here he is.
Right.
Whereas Akbar, we know he's still around, but we also know he gets fucking ended in The Last Jedi.
Ended?
Yeah. Ended. Yeah.
Okay.
He ceases to be, and Thrawn.
Akbar. Akbar.
Damn it.
Sorry, I saw it in the chat.
Chantal, I'll never forgive you for that, by the way.
I had to satisfy the chat.
Never going to forgive her for that. Starting that trend. All right, last one. You never know. Leia or Han? Oh, and Thrawn won 70% to 30% in the previous one. But then we got the last one. Leia or Han? Who is more likely to appear in the final episode of Book of Boba Fett?
Han.
Yeah, it has to be. Because like he is very closely connected to a lot of what's going on. And he did win 82% to 18%.
Our listeners are smart. They know.
They do.
They know things.
Do you need a break or anything before we start breaking these down? Don't think too hard.
I could probably use a break.
All right. Then we're going to take a very quick break before we get into the episodes themselves. And be right back after this word from our sponsors. God damn it. With the X. All right, let me get caught up on the chat here real quick. Hello to everybody who's in the chat, by the way. I see what... No, not that one. I see what Kristen's trying to do here, and it's not going to happen. I'll hold it, damn it. Ah, yes, I do remember that. In Legends, Akbar was... he was all about cleaning up the galaxy. Yeah, this is what I was thinking. Because Han has very close ties to Boba. And that would be very interesting to see him show up. Maybe Luke chartered a flight on the Millennium Falcon to get to Tatooine to deliver a certain tiny package. And, Han could be flying, and then you could have that moment, kind of like we had at the end of season 2 of Mandalorian, where it's the Ellen Page meme where she's driving this way and the other dude's driving this way, and they're looking at each other out the windows of the cars. You could get that with Han and Boba Fett in the finale. So.
Did you mention something about not wanting to get up? So you
I'm gonna hold it.
Oh, that's why people are talking about running water and river tubing.
Yes.
Oh, I love.
I can always count on our chat to give me all kinds of shit.
I love our listeners. It's fucking great.
All right. Well, whenever you're ready to resume, give me a countdown and we'll get it going.
Ready, set. Now.
And we're back! So, let's talk about Chapter 5, shall we? You all right there? Hello?
Maybe.
Dave is lost in his own little world.
Yeah, the iPad, the computer locked up again. As long as we're good, we're good.
Yeah, your video's still good, so.
Fair enough.
All right, so as we know, the previous chapter left off where they were insinuating that they needed some help. Boba and Fennec, Jesus Christ. Wow. Sorry.
You're busting my balls. Jeez.
I know. Boba and Fennec decided that they needed some more muscle. They insinuated they were going to go grab Mando. And this episode starts off. We're in a meat locker, right? Mm-hmm. It looks like Rocky's about to walk in and start punching one of the fucking pieces of meat hanging. And you see the silhouette of a Mandalorian coming through those plastic fucking strips that you actually see in meat lockers.
Right.
And you're thinking, okay, that could be Boba or it could be Mando. And as soon as he walks through, you get the whistle from the Mandalorian thing. And it's like, ah.
So we immediately get resolution on, are we going to see Mandalorian? Yes, you are.
And that's the thing, man. That's the thing they've been doing with these couple episodes is like they're not stringing it out. They're just like, we're hinting at something, and boom, here it is.
Yep. Yeah, we're not leading you on.
Yeah.
You know, we're not doing some fucking weird shit here. Like we're just gonna go for it.
Yeah. And he walks in. He's back to his old ways. And we can only assume that this takes place probably just a couple of weeks or months after he hands Grogu over to Luke. And we'll get more into that when we talk about Chapter 6. But he's back to bounty hunting.
Spoiler alert.
At least so we think. He's back to bounty hunting. And he is not taking any shit. He's after this dude, ugly as fuck dude. And he's like, all right, you're my bounty. I can bring you in warm or I can bring you in cold. He gives him the classic Mando line.
Right.
And like 6 dudes fucking jump him at the same time. And then we get another great reveal. The fact that he still has the fucking Darksaber, which was so awesome. Him fighting off these like 5 or 6 guys with the fucking Darksaber. But you get the moment where he's clearly not completely well trained.
He doesn't know how to. He has no fucking clue what he's doing.
Yeah.
Right. He lights the thing off. You're like, oh yeah, it's gonna be great. And then he's fucking swinging it around like.
Yeah, and then accidentally like hacks off part of his fucking thigh. It's like, ooh.
It's like, how does this not happen to, like, all the time?
Yeah.
Like, how does that happen? And sure shit, it happens to fucking him. It's like this dude, right? Kathy actually watched this with me, and this dude fucking gets beat up all the fucking time. Like Din Djarin.
Oh yeah, and we mentioned that talking about the previous seasons.
He's a punching bag. He fucking constantly get beat up. It's hilarious to me. So it's like, okay, homeboy's gonna you know get beat up again, and then try and cut his own leg off. Cool. All right, yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
But then he's also not fucking around when he throws the dude on the table and just like literally chops him in half with the fucking Darksaber. Yeah. Like he's not playing around anymore. He doesn't have Grogu. He's fucking pissed. He's trying to find his people. Fuck it, just... And he fucking chops the dude in half, takes his head. You get a great scene in an elevator where he walks in and there's this alien and he's like looks down at the fucking bag with the head in it and he looks at Mando and then Mando looks at him and he like looks away real quick and just like walks away. But before that, we saw where Mando was landing and this was pretty interesting. He landed on a fucking ring world.
Right.
That's where this bounty took him, was to a fucking ring world, which I know most people nowadays think of Halo, the game Halo.
Right.
And that structure, but this concept has been around far longer. Like, I remember reading Larry Niven's Ring World back in, like, the fucking 90s. And... yeah, and then Halo took the same concept, very similar to a Dyson Sphere type of structure where it's, you know, basically it's like a world built in a circular fucking ring around a fucking star. And then what was cool too is they have these plates in between that are also orbiting that make it night or day down on the surface.
Right.
Very, very cool. And honestly, you can't expect this to not happen in Star Wars, right? I mean, we've got things like the Death Star, for crying out loud. I know that there's a Dyson Sphere type of structure somewhere in the Star Wars canon. So we know this is not a foreign concept. Having something like a ring world, it just makes sense.
Wasn't there a Dyson Sphere in Solo? Isn't that what was in the center of all that? Fuck. Am I crazy?
No, I don't think it was. Not the shit in Corellia or any of that, or not Corellia, but Kessel.
No. In the middle of the maw.
No, that was like a big fucking creature. Remember that they were trying to get away from?
I'm thinking of something else.
Yeah.
I'm mixing up my sciencey shit.
Yeah. So, but anyway, all of this is so he can find his people again, because we know at a minimum the Armorer and a couple more Mandos escaped that purge from the Empire back in season 1.
Right.
So he's coming through. He's got his like little fucking special visors on because he's seeing these hidden markings, and one of them is the fucking Mandalorian symbol, and it's like, ooh, okay, so we know he's found his people. Goes down, and you get this really cool shot of he's walking. You're seeing him from behind. He's walking up to somebody else that you're seeing from behind, kind of kneeling, and then the camera kind of moves to a 180 view, and you see just like that face of the armor, her helmet.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's you see him walking up from behind her, and she's just like sitting there, just completely motionless. Just I don't know.
So it was, for me, it was like, okay, here's this reveal for what was he actually. Well, you get it a little bit before this, right? When he turns on the visor and he gets the information about where he's actually looking for. So you find out that, like, all right, this isn't a bounty. This isn't about going and bounty hunting, like, because he's not really bounty hunting. He's trying to get and find his people. He's trying to get to the covert. So once he gets that information, he really doesn't give a shit about the bounty. He gets that information, goes and finds, the covert where the armor is, and then collapses from the fucking. Obviously, he's in a pretty decent amount of pain from the fucking 3rd-degree burns.
Yeah, because he's like limping the whole way after he took that dude's head. He's been limping to everywhere when he turned in the bounty and then going down into the fucking Mando hideout. He falls half down the stairs, and without even getting up, the armorer tells Paz Vizsla, which I don't know if we knew that this guy was a fucking Vizsla. He's been around before. Him and Mando had words in the first season when they were down in the hideout, like talking shit to each other. But yeah, he helps him up, fucking back to sprays his leg a little bit. And yeah, they talk about starting to build up the fucking, basically the children of the Watch. And they're she takes the fucking Beskar spear. This was interesting because he has the Beskar spear. And she's looking at it like, where did that come from? Where did you get that? What are you doing?
Just don't worry about what I'm doing.
All right. And she tells him, like, Beskar is not meant to be forged into a weapon. It's meant to be armor. Because I guess any kind of Beskar weapon poses a threat to any Mandalorian because it can pierce the Beskar armor.
Right.
So she's like, give me that fucking spear. We're melting this shit down. What do you want me to make? And he tells her to make something for Grogu, for the foundling that he has.
Right.
Or had under his care. All the while, too, she asks him about the Darksaber. And he presents it to her. And we get this fucking crazy history, this little flashback about the fucking, the Great Purge and the Night of 1,000 Tears. Really cool flashback scene. It's very, very brief, but it tells a lot about some stuff that we kind of had knowledge of, but we never really got to see. Now we see like these fucking thousands of TIE bombers dropping what look like fucking nukes onto Mandalore.
There's so many TIE bombers, and what's really, when I watched this the second time, like, because I remember we talked about it the other week when we were doing the first few episodes. Like, I'm kind of watching this stuff on my phone. When I'm watching this on the big screen with that many TIE bombers, it's like, holy fuck. I never even fathom that many. Because the TIE bombers, it's a small squadron.
Yeah.
Right? It always has been. Like, the TIE bombers are kind of, for every fighter, like, maybe for every 5 fighters, there's 1 bomber.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. So to have that many bombers with no TIE fighters is like, okay, they obviously have air superiority, right? So now they're just fucking carpet bombing underneath it. It's fucking
and then you get like a
bonkers.
Fucking crazy like Terminator 2 shot where it's after the fucking bombing. Now you're on the surface. You see fucking probe droids flying everywhere, and you see the fucking like the K2SO droids.
Yeah.
Like walking around.
So I'm curious of your opinion of that. Like, I feel like that shot was too reminiscent of the Terminator. It really, because as soon as I saw it, I'm like, this. While I appreciate what they're trying to portray here, I feel like it was too close.
Potentially, but you got to remember who we're talking about here. We're talking about Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, Bryce Dallas Howard, who actually directed this episode, and they probably have a lot of loves out there. In addition to Star Wars, they probably have a love for things like Terminator and a bunch of other popular movies. And I'm sure that they just like the idea of throwing these homages in there to that stuff.
And I get that. It's one of those things when I saw it, I'm like, is this too much? Like, is this over the top?
Well, I'll tell you what, I will take Terminator 2 scenes all fucking day over the fucking Power Rangers and their Power Ranger bikes with the fucking 26 side mirrors.
I can't disagree with that.
Yeah. So I'll take those T2 shots all day long.
And it was a good shot. Don't get me wrong. I was just curious how you thought about.
I didn't dislike it at all. It was obviously very heavily influenced by like the Judgment Day type stuff, but that didn't bother me whatsoever. And we kind of talked about this offline, but I think after seeing this, we should do an episode where we talk about the current canon Mandalorian history, because there's a lot going on that we just don't really have time to get into.
Yeah.
But she did also mention that there was legends of a curse that, you know, somebody would take up the Darksaber that wasn't worthy, and it would lead to like the end of fucking Mandalore, which is essentially what we saw. If you put the fucking pieces together, she didn't spell it out, but if you look, fucking Sabine just handed the Darksaber over to Bo-Katan in Rebels? It was Rebels, right? Not
Yeah,
it had to be Rebels, because Sabine wasn't in Clone Wars. Correct. So yeah, in Rebels, she handed over the fucking Darksaber, and wouldn't you know it, next time we see fucking Mandalorians, their planet's been shit canned, Bo-Katan's off with like 2 other Mandalorians, and everything's in utter chaos.
Everything's fucked.
Yeah. And
welcome to planet fucked.
Yeah, and the armorer mentioned that the only reason why they survived was because they were exiled on the fucking moon at the time.
Right.
Which there's a whole history of that with the clans that were on the moon during the Clone Wars and everything else. So, yeah, we'll get into that some other time when we have more time.
Yeah.
We get a training montage where she's trying to teach him how to use the Darksaber. Very reminiscent of when Kanan was trying to teach Sabine how to use the Darksaber.
Right.
And it was mentioned that it gets heavier with every swing. And you kind of noticed that in that opening scene when he was in the meat locker.
Right.
And now you're really kind of seeing that in action. Like every time he swings, it's getting heavier. Yeah. And it's like he's struggling to just lift it up and even fucking swing it.
Yeah. And she says, like, you're fighting it.
Yeah.
Like you're fighting. You can't use your strength to fight against this. You have to, like, basically, I guess it becomes part of your personality or whatever.
Or to me, my opinion is it probably requires somebody who is more in tune with the Force to wield it.
Maybe.
As opposed to just some random Mandalorian.
Maybe. But, you know, saying that, who the fuck's the armor?
We don't know.
Why like this episode in particular, and I don't like how this ends, right? And we'll get to that. Like, I don't like how he parts in this. I think it's kind of whatever.
Yeah.
But it really makes me question, like, who is she to know this?
Yeah, and who is she to make all these fucking claims? Like, you're no longer a Mandalorian. Well, who the fuck are you?
Yeah, exactly. And,
you know, like, why should I listen to everything you have to say?
Yeah, I'm really curious what the speculation is, and because I'm not one of those that like goes into, like, I don't go on the internet to try and find out what people are talking about, because I will get so fucking annoyed that I will destroy things.
I do see a pretty funny comment in the chat. The armorer is Omega. I don't think the ages quite match up, but
Omega. What if it's Sabine?
I guess there's no reason why it couldn't be, right?
That's what popped into my head. Like, what if it's, maybe she knows why.
Oh, maybe she realized, like, oh, I fucked up.
Yeah, I fucked up.
Whoops. And didn't she like do Mandalore once before too? Like, because of some bullshit that she did or something that her family did, and like
yeah, her family was involved in some bullshit.
Yeah,
oh, I fucked up.
Yeah, and then maybe she's like, making atonement for that. She's after she purified herself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka, like Mando has to do now. She became the armorer.
And how fucking random is that? I mean, let's fast forward past the fucking part where fucking Favreau in his Fat Mando suit.
Yeah. Paz Vizsla.
Yeah, says I'm going to fight you.
Yeah, because it was his ancestor that created the Darksaber, fucking Tar Vizsla, who was the Jedi and Mandalorian who created the Darksaber.
Right.
So he's like, it's mine.
Thousand years ago. Which, you know what? Smart move, dude.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, I have a family claim to this thing. I'm going to try for it.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah. Well, he could have gotten his fucking head cut off.
Well, and what's interesting about this is, like, so he's got the vibro blade, right?
Yeah.
And
vibro dagger. Yeah, it was like a very short one.
And
The fucking shield.
the shield that we see all over BF2, right? That shield is generated with one of the fucking battle droids. But when I saw that, especially when I saw the animation, because they're really, really deliberate with making the dagger like look like it's vibrating.
Yeah.
Right? Because in Star Wars, even when we were Legends material and everything else, like the vibro blade, it was never just a knife. It was never just a dagger. It was always like the vibro blade.
Yeah.
And for this, they made it look really like deliberate as to like this thing was vibrating.
Oh yeah.
I just thought it was really interesting how they made that look. And then the little shield immediately reminded me of something out of the video game. That it was good. I mean, it was well animated, and they fucking just pounded the shit out of each other.
Yep.
Like it was fucking great.
Yeah, and I'm thinking for a second there, like, Mando's gonna lose. Like, fucking this Vizsla guy's gonna like kick the shit out of him, take the Darksaber, and that's that.
See ya.
Yeah, but
the Darksaber thing is over now.
Yeah.
Fucking done.
But luckily Mando gets the upper hand and, you know, gets the fucking knife right to the dude's throat when Homegirl calls it off. She's like, stop! It's over! So, dude was saved. And then just out of nowhere, like, as he's still got the dude's fucking head in a vice and he's, like, got the knife up to his throat, like, ready to cut him, she's like, have you ever taken off your helmet? And Paz was like, no! And she says the same thing to Mando. And he stupidly says yes.
See, and so here's the thing, and this, like, it's in my head now. This really, if you're fucking running from the law, right? If you're a Mandalorian and you're like, fuck, I can't let people know who the fuck I am, right? So I'm on the run, but I need, you know, I want to be amongst my people. So what am I going to do? I'm going to create this fucking sect, or the sect exists, and I'm going to fucking basically be the ringleader of one of these sects, and I'm going to make sure that a bunch of us get off planet, because this is going to go to hell in the handbasket because it's my fault.
Right.
And I'm going to fucking, hey, you know, part of this religion is you can't take your helmet off, right? Like, never? Like, never. Like, nobody can take it off. If you take your helmet off, you can't be a Mandalorian anymore. But that doesn't make any sense. Like, nope, those are the rules that I just made up.
Yeah.
Right? So why do you do that? So you don't have to take your fucking helmet off and show people who you are, because you probably are fucking Sabine Wren or somebody like that. Somebody, you're trying to hide who you are so you don't have to fucking take off your helmet, because these other Mandalorians are like, oh yeah, these people are fucking nuts. Like,
right.
You know, with the whole helmet thing.
Yeah,
like,
they even refer to them as religious zealots.
Yeah, because of the helmet thing. Like, there's no other place that the helmet thing exists. So that is the most convenient thing that you could possibly do, is get into all right, I'm going to get in this religion where I have to keep my helmet on. Nobody can tell me to take it off because it's part of my religion, right? And I'm in charge. Fuckers, come proper.
Yeah.
You know?
And really, like, who would know if he lied? Like, he should have just been like, no, I'm never taking it off. Like, you think Bill Burr fucking ratted him out to the fucking armorer? You know? So, but he tells the truth, and she's like, you are no longer a Mandalorian. And that's where we get to what you were saying, is like, well, who the fuck are you to decide this?
Right.
Right? Like, is she the fucking Queen Mandalorian? If not, then, like, or if she thinks she is, then why don't you fucking duel me for the Darksaber? And we'll fucking finish this one way or the other.
Yeah, I'm you heard it here first. Maybe
I have never heard that theory, so,
and it literally had popped into my head while we were talking. So we'll see. We'll see.
After that, after he leaves, he's no longer a Mandalorian. Like I said, she tells him that you have to purify yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka. Yeah. And he's like, well, fuck, you know, the lake's gone because they blew up the planet. And she's like, well, this is the way. It's like, huh, okay. And then he fucking leaves, and then we get to see the joy of commercial air travel in the Star Wars universe.
Even my wife, is like, what the fuck is happening right now? Like, he's never going to get his stuff back.
I know, that's what everybody who was watching this was thinking too.
Like, what are you doing? Like, no.
He just puts the Darksaber in like a fucking
dump
piece
out
of
all
luggage.
these super rare fucking Whistler things.
Though that whole disarming scene was pretty hilarious.
It was funny.
Yeah.
But really?
Like, well, what else is he going to do? He doesn't have a ship.
Stow away somewhere.
All right.
I don't know. Like, hey, this ship's going somewhere. I'm just going to sneak into the cargo hold and fucking you can have your brooding scene and not have to deal with the fucking Rhodinian fucking kid. And it like that fucking bit, right? Oh, I'm in my coach class seat and I got some fucking bratty kid in front of me thinking like, hey, I'm gonna wave, and I'm gonna take out my little fucking thing, and I'm gonna take out my little fucking folded thing that looks like Grogu's head, and I'm like, oh look, I miss my green guy. Fuck you, fuck you! I don't need this fucking. I don't need this. I don't need this commercial air travel bullshit. This is a fucking Mandalorian. Like, stow away in something till you get to fucking Tatooine. Fucking done. Then I don't need the fucking later on when he's in the fucking the starship. I don't need him flying back up to see him drive by the bus and wave at the same fucking kid.
Apparently, they just had a layover on Tatooine. That wasn't their final destination.
Kathy called it from a mile away. She's like, he is not going to go see that same kid. He is not going to wave to that kid. I'm like, oh yeah, just wait. She's like, this is bullshit. This is such bullshit. Right? I did not. I was not a fan of that. I really wasn't.
That's funny.
The disarming of the Mandalorian. Yes, it was funny how they did it. However, I was just like, what? Like, and he takes the thing. I was like, I know everything that's in there. Like, what if it didn't make it onto the thing? Yeah. I literally thought that, like, okay, this is where the Mandalorian now goes to search for his luggage because Delta Airlines lost his shit.
Fuck you, stripy bag.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Now he's got to fucking spend a whole episode, Mandalorian episode 2.7, fucking looking for his goddamn stripy bag.
I'd watch that episode.
Yeah, it would be funny. And it's in the carousel on the fucking Death Star. Just to tie it all together. Anyway, yeah. Motherfuckers.
That's good stuff. I did not dislike the whole commercial flying thing, only because I've flown commercial so fucking much. And, like, I recognize all of these things. The little kid who's just fucking staring over the seat at you. And then, like, as he's fucking disarming and everything, is that fucking TSA agents like making him disarm. All I'm thinking about is the time I was with you at the fucking airport and they found a fucking knife in your bag, and I'm just sitting there watching Dave like getting frisked by fucking airport security because you tried to get a knife through the fucking metal detector.
Listen. I didn't try to get a knife into the metal detector. I didn't know it was there. All right. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and have this sidebar.
All right.
Because we may have talked about it before, but now
I'm sure we have.
So this particular incident that Jason is talking about, we went on a TDY. We went to Dallas.
Yeah,
right?
It was a work trip.
We went from Philadelphia to Dallas Fort Worth, direct flight. I had just gotten back from a trip, right, on our airplane. So all my stuff was packed for a normal fucking trip on the military aircraft, right? Yep. That is basically was our own private jet. So we could take whatever the fuck we wanted. So I thought that I took everything out of that bag that was going to get me in trouble, like including knives and shit like that, and went to Philly, went through the metal detector, went through fucking TSA and everything else, boarded the flight, flew into Dallas. We did our TDY. It was on the return flight from Dallas to Philadelphia. I never added anything to this bag. That knife had been in there when I went through TSA in Philadelphia. They missed it. And, dude, when I say, like, it was not like one of those, it was, like, kind of wedged into something. No. If they had looked at the goddamn X-ray, it would have saw it. Like, it was a big knife. It was one of... it was a beautiful fucking stainless Benchmade with fucking wood inlay. Fold out. Oh god, it was such a nice knife. I hated losing it. I really did. But I had no way to like you could like put it in the mail. I'm like, what? How? Why?
Yeah.
I no, fuck it. Fuck me. It's fucking gone. But yeah, that's what happened. Like Dallas Fort Worth, the TSA, they actually like did their job, as opposed to in Philly where apparently they just were like, oh, giant knife. Seems legit. Yeah. Fucking send it. Full send. Yes, That is exactly what happened. And the people in Dallas, they were very nice about risking me and looking through all of my shit. This is not the first. Hopefully, it will be the last time I've ever been jacked up by TSA. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah. So, getting back to Mandalorian.
Yeah.
One little thing, well, I don't know if this is little, but one thing that I think they really missed an opportunity to do here was to show the fucking pikes on that same aircraft, because we saw in a previous episode of Book of Boba Fett that the pikes came in on these fucking commercial jets. And I was fully expecting to see Mando, like, looking over and seeing, like, a bunch of fucking pikes. Or when Mando's getting off of the fucking plane, you see the pikes and you see fucking Chris Brown over there on the radio, like, wheeling away. But you didn't see any of that. It was just him opening his thing. And then again, when he opens the fucking luggage, you're expecting, like, the Darksaber to be gone or something. You're just waiting for it. And no, everything's there. It's like, well, what was that all about?
Exactly. What was that all about? Oh, it was just to have that fucking... It was to have fucking, what's his nuts? The Star Tours fucking robot fucking say something silly. And then it was him to have this moment where he gets his shit. And he opened a case, and there it all is. Hooray!
Yep. And then he goes and finds his maintenance friend, who we've seen her quite a bit between
all right,
Mando and...
I'm going to go ahead and say it. I didn't hate her this time.
She kind of grew on me a little bit this time. I still find a lot of the way that she talks and acts to be kind of annoying, but not nearly as bad as the mayor's Twi'lek fucking
oh god,
dude.
That dude needs to fall in a fucking
especially when
into a vat of knives.
When she's talking about, like, dating Jawas and she's speaking like Jawaese.
Yes.
And
she's like dated a Jawa once. Furry. Very furry.
Yeah.
I'm just like, no fucking way did she just say that.
Yeah.
And I was like dumbfounded. And then she doubled down on it later. She just like after the comment, she's like, because one of the Jawas, it was basically asking her like, "Hey, you want to hook up?" And she's like, "No, I'm
working on me.
I'm
right
working
now.
on me right now." Just like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Furry. And it was funny. I for that character that I really didn't like, I wasn't really sold on in The Mandalorian. Like, this part of it, especially during the montage, you gotta have a montage.
Oh yeah, we get our fair share of
montage.
Yeah, a lot of montages in these two episodes.
Motherfucking montage. Yeah, it was Jawa Tinder. I just looked down in the chat and saw Jawa Tinder.
And Pelly is her name. Oh god, Jawa Tinder. Oh god. How can you tell them apart? They all look the same.
Furry. Maybe they have fur patterns.
Yeah.
Maybe like kind of like dogs. You know, you can recognize like this one's brindle is a little bit different.
You'd think that they wouldn't be very well hung either, just because they're so small. So small.
I mean, she's kind of little too.
True.
So penis, so small, so small. Furry.
The Sidebar Cantina, folks, where we talk about the size of Jawa penises. Welcome.
Happy Star Wars podcast day.
Indeed. So yeah, we get this montage, which is basically whoever either co-wrote this or had something to do with the production was like a big muscle car fucking junkie, right?
Yeah.
Because
hang on.
Oh.
Stop.
Oh.
Before we get there.
Okay.
Let's talk about the BD.
Yeah.
Do you think there is anything to this cameo of the BD droid?
No, because BD obviously coming from Jedi Fallen Order with Cal Kestis. Here's my thing, and this is what kind of annoys me about Star Wars, and I think we've talked about this before. Like, I hate the fact that, like, there's one fucking droid, like an R5 droid that we saw on Tatooine years ago, who just happens to be the same R5 droid that fucking Pelly has in her little shop now. You would think when they're producing droids, right, when the droid factory is, making droids, that they'd make fucking thousands of them. Mm-hmm. Because you would think they're not going to make just one fucking R5D4 droid and ship it to one fucking guy on Tatooine and be like, okay, what's next? Okay, now let's make an R2D2. No, you would think that they'd make fucking thousands of these things and that they'd be spread everywhere all over the fucking galaxy. So just to think that, like, you know, we've seen the BD droid one other time before in Fallen Order. Now we see it here. It's like, oh my god, is that the same BD? Well, it shouldn't be. Like realistically, if you think about this logically, it should not be the same droid. It should not be related to that droid that we saw in Fallen Order. But this is also Star Wars, and they fucking do that because the R5 droid that I talked about and that whole fucking connection.
I
Got a bad motivator.
All that notwithstanding, we are at a point in this Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian where we see Ahsoka, we see Luke.
We're going to talk about that.
We know that there's other Jedi out there in hiding. Do we know that Cal Kestis, like, what his status is?
No. Yeah, we have no idea.
Is it possible that, like, he could have been lost in Tatooine somewhere? Is there, like, you know, there's so many things that there's questions about where people are and things like that. Is this, I would like to believe that this is Filoni leaving a breadcrumb to something. Even if it's just like, hey, I know that we're doing another game or something like that, and maybe this has a part in the new video game, or, you know, this is how he ends up on Tatooine. This is how BD ends up on Tatooine or something like that. But I don't think this is random. Yeah, I really don't, because, like you said, it's not it doesn't need to be there. Like, they could have went through all the montage and fucking, you know, we didn't talk about finding it's a goddamn Naboo.
Oh yeah,
starship.
We were gonna get there.
Which, you know, I am not a fan. I'm not a fan.
Really?
I'm not a fan. It's too small.
So small.
So small. It's to me, it's too small. So before, all right, it has a lot of characteristics that are you know, going to be good for him, right? He can go into he can. It has a hyperdrive. It obviously is very maneuverable and can get him out of situations. It's not registered, blah, 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 right? But, by the way, it has a fucking little Grogu canopy.
Oh, yeah, and that's exactly what that's for.
Like, are we foreshadowing much here?
Yeah,
anyway.
No, you know exactly what they're going to be using that for.
So, or he's going to stuff bounties in it. Like, I'm going to put the head of this guy in here. Anyway, so you've got... You're basically cramming a Mandalorian into this fucking thing, right? Where you had the fucking, you had young Anakin Skywalker, like, sitting in here. Now you have a Mandalorian, like, jammed into this fucking cockpit. I love the scenery. I liked all the things that they did come after this, like after the montage and flying around and everything else. But I just think that he needs a bigger ship.
Well, and he expressed that. He's like, I'll give it back to you in a heartbeat if you give me a fucking another Razor Crest.
Yeah, and he said that after, you know, or before he fucking flew it.
Sure.
And now that he's flown it, he's like, oh, I can dig this, right? Because...
Well, that's not exactly what he said.
Well, yeah. What did he say, Jason?
She asked him how it was, and he goes, wizard.
Yeah, which... deep callback for those of us who have enjoyed some
I'm bringing it back.
Yeah, I'm bringing it back.
It's up there.
It is up there.
Yeah. So, but anyway, getting back to what I was saying is this was very heavily inspired by, like, building muscle cars. Like, if they were fucking singing Grease Lightning as they were fixing the fucking Naboo Starfighter, it wouldn't have seemed that out of place, because it's very reminiscent of, like, muscle car type of...
Well, it makes muscle car noises, like, when it's accelerating.
Yeah, it's got the little, the fucking, the round cap on the front, just like fucking some muscle cars would back in the day, the radiator thing. Whatever the fuck that was.
What was it?
I don't know.
Obviously.
I was not a car person.
This is an air filter. That's what that was.
Okay. Anyway.
It's nothing really that cosmic. It was the carburetor would sit, and then the air filter would sit on top of that.
Right, but it would be outside the hood.
Right.
You know, and
it's like, the air filter.
Right, so they did that same thing with the fucking Naboo Starfighter. Right. But anyway, you could tell that whoever wrote this movie or this episode, like, really loved that kind of stuff.
Right.
Very reminiscent of George Lucas with American Graffiti. He was always a big car guy.
Right.
So a little bit of an homage to him. And then he takes it out for the test drive that you mentioned. And it's the fucking pod racing scene, right? He does the pod racing loop where he goes through Beggar's Canyon.
Yeah.
And you see him going by the ramp that you saw somebody go off of in, I think Anakin went through it during the pod race. And you see him going through that one kind of deserty area that's got like the stone pillars and it's like, wow. And this is pod racing.
It was a great sequence.
Yeah.
I liked how they filmed it. I liked because they kind of took this pan back, and you have the ship kind of flying like this. It was very realistic. I really enjoyed that part. Excuse me, that part of it. I didn't hate it. That part of it I didn't hate at all. Mm-hmm. Like I said, the part I don't like is the fact that he's crammed into this fucking thing, and it doesn't make any sense that he's going to spend the rest of his time in this tiny ass fucking starship.
There's no place to even take a shit in this thing. Like he'll have to upgrade depending on what he does with his life after this.
Right.
You know, because we don't know if he's planning on just like again purifying himself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka,
right,
and then just going right back to the armor and be like, I'm cleansed now. Take me back, or what he's gonna do. So
he's gonna wield the fucking Darksaber of,
or is he just gonna go back to Mandalore and be like, I'm king now?
Yep, back to fucking wasteland, stand on fucking skulls like another Terminator scene.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll figure that out.
So yeah, I'm not too upset with it. If nothing else, it's a cool little temporary callback to the N1 Starfighter.
Yeah, I agree with Darth Moocher. The Starfighter docks into a bigger ship. That's what I think is going to happen. I think he's going to get something a little bit bigger than the Razor Crest, and he can basically dock that onto there.
Yeah.
So he can park that in orbit and then fly that wherever he needs to go.
And that would make sense. So then Fennec shows up at the end, and she's trying to recruit Mando because we already know why they need muscle over with Boba, right. And he's like, nope, it's on the house. Just got to make one little stop first. Got to see an old friend or a little friend. And that's the end of the episode.
Right.
So
then after that, the speculation is, well, are we going to see that this season? Like, was this a one-time kind of like, hey, look, Mandalorian. Now back to our regular scheduled program.
Right. And we had a week of speculating about that. But
yep.
Thankfully, we have the benefit of knowing what happened in that episode now.
That's right.
And we hop right into it. Well, and again, I just want to mention Bryce Dallas Howard directed that episode 5. And now after that episode, by the way, there's a lot of people online calling for her to get her own like full Star Wars movie, which I would not be opposed to.
I wouldn't. I think she did a fantastic job. Yeah. I really have enjoyed the episodes that she's done.
Yeah, because she did 2 episodes of Mandalorian, I think, one in each season.
I believe.
I want to say.
Yes.
So yeah. Give her a movie. Fuck it. I'll take her movie over Ryan Johnson's any day.
Fucking A, right.
So, moving into Chapter 6.
Chapter 6.
From the desert comes a stranger. And we're back on Tatooine.
Right.
So you're thinking, oh, okay, we're back to Boba, right? You see the Pikes. They got fucking spice,
right,
on the speeder. And it's like, okay, so now we're back to business as usual. We see so many fucking Western tropes in this.
Yes.
You see the side of the leg coming to screen with the fucking holstered gun.
Yep.
Cobb Vanth shows up in like no Boba armor anymore.
Obviously.
Now he just looks like he's fucking John Wayne, just dressed in Western clothes, and he tells the fucking Pikes, get your shit out of my fucking town. I'll pretend I never saw you.
Right. But I didn't see what's in the thing, so technically you haven't broken any laws yet.
Yeah.
So, skedaddle.
Mm-hmm.
And, fucking guns him down.
Yeah, and it was like quick draw McGraw, too. Just boom, boom, boom. And then he left the one guy alive and said, go tell your people to fucking piss off and leave the spice. And
it was a great way to open it. And it's like, again, the tone, it was just like, oh, fucking great.
Spice is a hell of a drug.
Apparently it's really valuable because the Pike was like, well, this is worth more in your whole town.
Yeah.
Like, well, okay, then why don't you just leave the money then and take the spice?
Right.
Like, hey, here's this cash. I'll take this other thing that's more valuable, if that's really the case. I can't get past the fact, because I'm a Dune person, that spice, the desert, all this other shit, it just is like, the spice.
The fact that it's called spice too,
Yeah.
like that, I didn't realize that until I was doing some research after this. That the drug in Dune is also called spice. So
All we need is fucking blue on blue eyes, and it would just be like, oh my god, worlds collide. Anyway,
yeah. But yeah, seeing Cobb Vanth was fucking awesome.
Yes.
Liked him as a character. Timothy Oliphant is a great actor, and he does such a good job in this.
yeah, he plays his characters just really, really well.
Yep. So you're thinking, okay, we're back on Tatooine. The title of the show is From the Desert Comes a Stranger. We're back to Boba Fett, right? No.
Yep.
Right back into the Mando ship. He's flying the Naboo starfighter now, lands on a fucking jungle planet, and you're like, oh, we're still doing this. We're still doing Mando stuff. So all that speculation as to, will he be in this? Will we see Grogu this season?
We're gonna answer those questions right meow.
Yep, which it goes back to the last episode where they're not stringing us along. They're just like right into
We've
it.
only got 7 episodes. We got to get this shit fucking done.
Yeah, and boy, have we got a lot to say in this one episode. Next thing we see, fucking R2-D2 with his little fucking scanner, like he had on Hoth. I think you're thinking of a different movie.
Oh, that might have been Spaceballs.
Yeah, that was Spaceballs. That was a pretty good recreation, though.
Thank you.
So yeah, boom, we get R2 right away. And Mando's like, hey, I'm looking for Skywalker. So we're like, oh, fuck, okay, so this is really happening.
Like, yeah, again, no pretense, just fucking straight to the shit.
Yep.
Like, fucking great.
R2 takes him up to this hill where these fucking ant droids are building the soon-to-be Jedi Academy.
Right.
That if you pay attention, you can kind of recognize it from Luke's flashbacks where it's burning and blah, blah, blah.
And which Ahsoka, spoiler alert, basically tells him that that's what it's going to be. I feel like we've seen these androids before, though. Like when I saw them, I'm like, oh, I've seen them before in something else, but I could never connect those two dots.
Yeah,
those penguins are. There's a penguin swimming out there screaming about it, and I can't save him.
He's off the iceberg at this point.
He's totally gone.
Yeah.
We got our Ivo G in the house.
Oh,
right
nice. Sup, Ivo?
It's gotta be fucking.
He missed a shout out for during the Patreon earlier, but what can you do? We have a fucking hilarious sequence where they get to the fucking hill and Mando's like, what the fuck? Where is everybody?
Right.
And R2 just fucking shuts himself down.
It's like,
and
I'm gonna save some battery life now.
And he's like, hey, you know, what the fuck? And the fucking androids build him a bench to sit on.
Is that a bench?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, that may be one of the funniest things I've ever seen in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like, no bullshit. Almost as good as hey, you know, Babu Frick with a like. It's like, is that a bench?
Yeah.
Like that building that bench. I rewound. I just like, and then when I saw it again, watching with Catherine, I'm like, this is the funniest thing I've seen in Star Wars.
Well, and I thought R2 shutting down was fucking hilarious. Like, oh god, I'm so sick of listening to this guy talk. Just.
What the fuck, dude? Tunk, tunk, tunk. R2 has nothing to prove to anybody.
No,
like, R2's like, dude, I'm the fucking OG here.
Yeah.
So,
and he's also kind of a little asshole.
well, facts.
So
that's why he's so lovable.
Yeah, you combine that with the fact that he just doesn't give a fuck and he doesn't have to answer to anybody.
Doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, so he just shuts down. Then we move over to a shot of fucking Grogu. Like, immediately we see Grogu, and then we see Luke, which we talked about this at length when we talked about the end of Mandalorian Season 2 and the de-aging and the CG that they did with Mark Hamill. It was okay, but it just kind of didn't look all that great. Mm-hmm. When now we know that fucking Disney hired this YouTuber, that Shamook guy, who did like the fixed deepfake of Luke from that scene in Mandalorian.
Yep.
Like, he did a way better scene in just like a week than, you know, God knows how long they worked on the CG Luke over at Lucasfilm.
Right.
So Disney's like, hire this man. And they did, and obviously he worked on this fucking episode of Mandalorian because Luke looked fucking
It
incredible.
looked really good. There was only maybe a couple times where I was like, this seems a little off just because it's like the dialogue a little bit.
Well, yeah, when he's talking, that's when you can notice it the most.
Right.
But when it's just like him sitting there, it's
Yeah.
like, holy fuck, that's young Mark Hamill sitting right there.
Yeah, it threw Kathy off looking at it. She's like, "Is that what? How? What?"
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really really good.
Yeah.
That was money well spent.
Indeed.
Honestly.
Yeah.
you're
So
Disney.
it looked fucking incredible. I was just like flabbergasted. I'm just like sitting there, this mouth agape, just staring at the fucking TV. I'm like, is this happening?
And there was times too, like dialogue notwithstanding, like where he's like turning his head and like doing things that you're like, it looks even better. Like there was times where like the head was turned, like looking and smiling, and I'm just like, I can't get over how good that looks.
Yeah.
Like it was bonkers. It really was. It was. Again, money well spent, man.
Yeah, and honestly, I want to see interviews with Mark Hamill. Like, I want to know what he thinks after watching this, because he's got to have some kind of a crazy opinion. Like, what they should have done is they should have like set up a private screening room for him, like turn on the cameras on his face, and then showed it to him just so we could see his reaction to seeing himself fucking deep faked in this episode.
Yeah.
Because
Like, wow, that's fucking weird.
Yeah.
It probably would have said something like that. Like,
yeah. But fuck, man, like as soon as I saw that, I'm like, this is like one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life.
yeah.
Such a good fucking job.
Well, and like they're talking about it in the chat right now, it does. Oh, hang on. Sidebar. Ivo G, hope you feel better. He apparently he announced the Pro Bowl for.
Oh, that's right. The Pro Bowl happened
Yeah.
over in Bulgaria.
Well, yeah, he announced it in Bulgaria.
That's
The
what
Pro
I'm saying.
Bowl was in fucking
Oh yeah, no, I know it was.
Las Vegas, but
Yeah,
I had no idea he was calling the Pro Bowl, so that's fucking awesome.
nice.
And
Well
Ivo
done,
G,
sir.
our celebrity,
Yeah,
our celebrity listener out in Bulgaria.
indeed.
Well done, sir.
Yep.
And we hope you feel better.
Yes.
Whiskey cures everything, by the by. It is the water of life.
I don't know if that's 100% true, but it's worth a try, I guess.
As if you're Irish.
So we get this moment where Luke is walking with Grogu. Well, Luke is walking and he's like force moving Grogu. It's
Yeah. Like, all right, come on.
like the cutest thing you'll ever see. And then he asks Yoda, well, he starts talking about Yoda, and he asks Grogu, like, did anybody else in your planet talk like this? Do you remember anything? Do you want to remember?
Right.
And that's when he fucking puts his hand on Grogu's head, and we get like a Grogu flashback.
Right.
Which at first I'm thinking like, oh, we're gonna see fucking Planet Yoda here, and we're gonna
Right.
see all these little green motherfuckers hopping around, and
Yep. Nope.
no,
No, you are not.
no, we got something far more powerful in Grogu's memory,
Yeah.
and that was Order 66.
That's fucking that. So that was the 501st, right?
Yep.
So you had the 501st annihilating those 2 or 3 Jedi.
It was like 3 Jedi in a hallway, and
Yeah.
Grogu was at the back of it. It looked like
those fucking clone troopers looked fucking fantastic.
mm-hmm.
Like I'm looking at it, go like that looks so good. It looked great.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
And they accurately recreated their same coloring and everything,
Yeah.
so you know it was the 501st. And
I'm just. This is one of those. It was one of those moments where I'm like, the fidelity of these shows, this television show, basically, right? It's a cable television show that I'm getting to watch this level of fidelity on a television show. It's just I'm can't believe it.
yeah, and
Just
we're getting
can't fucking believe
and we're
it.
getting so much important shit thrown at us.
Yeah.
And then of course this scene has people asking the obvious question: how the fuck did Grogu get out of that? You know, it was
Yeah.
clear that those 3 Jedi were fucking done.
Right.
The clones were heading right for him.
Yep. They're coming right for you.
Yeah, and it's like, well, fuck. Then what happened? And
That-
then of course the memory cuts.
And like, oh, and then it memory cuts and Luke is like, oh, welcome back.
Yeah.
Like how long was I out? Shit. You know, it's like you're waking up off of a bender. Like, fuck, God damn, that hurt.
Yep. So we go back to Mando, who's now fucking sleeping on the bench. He's just laying there. You hear a crack in the woods fucking immediately pulls his gun out, and who is right there but motherfucking Ahsoka?
Right. Just leaning. Just leaning.
And it's like, holy shit!
Yeah.
Like,
this was one of those episodes where you spend a lot of time going like, look!
Yeah, it's that fucking
look!
Yeah, that Leo meme, right? The fucking pointing at the TV.
Yep. Yeah, just keep fucking playing that on repeat because that's what it was.
She had a line like right from the start where he's like, "Well, what are you doing here?" She's like, "I'm a friend of the family." It's like,
Yeah.
And then this has us bringing up so many more questions. When the fuck did her and Luke make contact? What were those first conversations like?
Right.
It's like, aha!
Yeah.
You're giving us so much, but still like not giving us enough.
There's a lot of questions there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions there about that. I mean, you know that they had contact, but the how.
Yeah.
And now that they've obviously communicated to a point where she's comfortable enough to just fucking walk up on him. Mm-hmm. So it's fucking good shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good shit.
Yeah. And she basically convinces Mando to not make contact with Grogu.
Right.
Because, oh my God. And this is the thing that frustrates me about this episode. And I don't say this I don't dislike it, but the fact that Luke and Ahsoka haven't fucking learned from what happened before with Anakin. They're still trying to hold on to these old Jedi ways of the no attachment. It's like, did you not see that was a huge part of the fucking problem?
That was I think Nick told me about it. There was the meme out there where it was like, do you want Darth Vader? Because this is how you get Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, clearly Luke had not fully read all of the sacred Jedi texts.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of them were burned or something.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. It's a theme as we go forward, right? Because at the end of this, like with the choices, it's the same shit. It's like how have you not learned?
Yeah.
Like when you have to make choices like this, how does that benefit the order?
Right.
Right? Except for fucking like when you make things so binary, then it only leads to fucking
which is unique.
Bad things.
Yeah, which is unique because the Mandalorians, at least the Children of the Watch, are doing the exact same thing with the fucking helmet thing. It's so binary. It's like you're either one of us and never take off the helmet, or you do and fuck you. You're out.
Right.
Same thing with attachment in the Jedi.
Yep.
And there's some really crazy parallels between Din Djarin's beginnings and Grogu's too, because you think about those flashbacks that we got of Din being rescued by the that one group of Mandalorians.
Right.
Like as a young kid, fucking middle of a battle, Mandalorians come up and scoop him up and take him out of this like tragic situation. Now you see the same thing in this Grogu flashback.
Right.
So they've got very similar backstories. And, you know, they're both part of these fucking super binary, like, you know, yes or no, 100% this way or 100% that way.
Right.
Fucking orders. It's crazy.
Yeah, and look, this is the Yoda school of fucking Jediing. Jediing?
Yeah.
Jediing. Or Jediing. Sure.
Yeah.
Can we turn Jedi into a verb? Can we do that?
We can do whatever we want.
Jediing.
This is America, goddammit.
Jediing. Fuck, whatever. All right. You know what I'm trying to say. God damn it.
Yes. But yeah, no, it's so frustrating seeing Luke and even Ahsoka. Like you would think Ahsoka of all people would fucking know better, but she's still clinging to this old way as well. This, you know, no attachments for these Jedi, and it's like, stop it. Stop it. You're so close to doing things the right way. Just fucking let that go.
But does she know any better? I mean, honestly, like...
Well, but she's the one who walked away from the order because she recognized that it was fucking corrupt and it's like, I don't know about all this.
But she...
Hey, she saw Anakin. She saw what happened with him.
But does she know why it was corrupted, though? Does she know that was the reasons?
Yeah, I mean, I guess she knew of some reasons, but...
Right. She knew that it was, you know, the Jedi are bad.
Yeah.
You shouldn't do Jediing. But why? The why of it, like... You have to start somewhere, and I don't think that she knows any different. Like, this is how you start training Jedi. This is what you do. You start at this fucking... You get the stick robots to pick up rocks, and you build this fucking temple-looking thing. because you have to train Jedi in this type of structure.
Sure.
That's like part 1 of the fucking how do you make a Jedi Academy? Well, you have to build things out of rocks. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
You gotta have a temple-like structure.
Yes.
Which, by the way, very similar to the structures on Ahch-To, which,
Yeah.
Luke Island.
Yeah.
Very similar in structure to those
Facts.
that this is being built in.
Yep.
And so anyway, she convinces him to leave the fucking gift and not actually go and make contact with Grogu.
Right.
And we get this great fucking moment. Like, Pedro Pascal, like, for not being able to see his face, the emotion in his voice. He's like, I came all this way.
Yeah.
He's right there.
And it's like the voice and like looking at a helmet, looking at a visor, right, in a helmet with the camera panning just right. Like, this is good filmmaking.
Yeah.
Right? This is great acting, great filmmaking, because you're getting emotion out of nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. This guy has a mask on, for fuck's sake. There's no like unhappy face on this fucking on the front of this mask.
Yep.
Like, all of this is being portrayed from body language and everything else. And it doesn't, you don't get that out of something that's fucking like poorly written and poorly shot.
Yep.
Or done by happenstance. Like, that you have to have the right people and the right way to do it.
Yep. And they
that's
had
what
all
we're
the
getting.
right parts. Yeah.
That's what we're getting. It's
yeah.
fucking great.
And then he leaves, and as he's flying away, you see a shot of Grogu, like, fucking reaching out. Like, Grogu fucking knew. Like he knew he was there. He felt him.
Mando, no.
But then it just goes right into, like, a fucking training montage. Another montage.
You're gonna have a montage.
Yeah,
motherfucking montage.
no shortage of montages in
Oh,
these
God,
fucking episodes.
And they're long. There's a lot going on in these 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Like, montages notwithstanding.
And this one's a training montage with Luke and Grogu on his fucking back.
Right.
Shades of Empire Strikes Back
Right.
when Luke was in Dagobah with fucking Yoda on his back. He's running around doing fucking flips.
So I said, I started to do the Yoda jump. Jump.
Yeah.
Like, I started doing that, and Kathy's like, stop. Immediately. Like, as soon as I started, she's like, stop it.
Oh, that's funny.
Because it puts you immediately in that mindset.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
this is the only training that Luke had. This is all that Luke knows. So it's like, all right, well, this worked for me. Fuck it. Let's do jumping and shit.
But you know what this also is?
A montage?
Well, besides that,
Montage.
this is what we fucking wanted since 1983. This was the next evolution in Star Wars in our minds, and then what we read in some of the Legends novels and everything. It was like, seeing Luke now becoming a Jedi Master and teaching new students and everything, and it's like, this is the next step. This is what we wanted to fucking see next.
Right.
And we were denied that for the longest time. And, like, quite frankly, somebody should have spoken the line of dialogue to start this episode. This will begin to make things right.
Yeah, no shit.
But, like, as I'm watching this, I'm like, this is what we've wanted as the hardcore Star Wars fans that have been watching this shit since the fucking 70s.
Yeah. This is what we wanted, but I have a feeling we're going to be like disappointed because we're not going to see much more of it.
No, I don't think we will either, honestly. And even though I would love to see the fucking Luke Jedi Academy fucking series on Disney Plus, because now they have the technology,
Right.
They can fucking do it easy enough. I doubt we're going to see much more of that. But it was at least nice to see after all the shit that we had shoveled down our throats. And again, if you like The Last Jedi, good for you. I'm not going to say you're wrong, but I do strongly disagree with you and the way that they fucking treated Luke in that movie and the way he kind of went out like a fart in church. And this is making up for that, I think. And for us long-time hardcore Star Wars fans, this was fucking therapy. This went a long way to healing those fucking wounds that we've been suffering for the last several years.
Yeah.
So again, thank you to Favreau and Filoni for that.
And making Legends seem more real,
Yeah.
too. Making the Legends material seem more real.
For sure. I lost my place. Oh,
Jump.
So, yeah. So they're jumping, and then he pulls out the fucking the training droid
Right.
The training remote.
Right.
And I'm like, it's not gonna fucking zap Grogu, is it? Boom! It fucking zaps Grogu. I'm like, you motherfucker.
The best was Grogu like rolling it towards him, like, oh, a ball.
Yeah.
Look, I'm gonna
Like
roll this
playing
towards
with
you.
it at first.
Like,
Yeah.
no, that's not how this thing works.
Yeah, and then it fucking starts zapping him, but then he's doing like fucking jumping around and everything, and finally Grogu's like, fuck this. Boom.
Yep.
Force fucking just destroys it.
Right. And that's as Ahsoka's walking up, right? So he fucking force chokes the goddamn ball. It falls into the water, and Grogu's like, "Hey, look what I did.
Yeah.
Look, see what I did."
Yep.
And I'm like, "Oh, I feel kind of bad about it." And
Yeah.
he keeps looking.
Yeah, and then we get a little bit more exchange. Really, this is the only exchange between Luke and Ahsoka that we've gotten ever. And you know, Luke expresses his doubts about Grogu and like his heart being in this, and we get the line. Ahsoka looks at him, smiles, and like, so much like your father. It's like,
Yeah.
oh God, you're killing me, guys. You're fucking killing me in a good way. So many fucking emotions as a viewer, like watching that scene. You're like, motherfucker. And again, I want this for a season. I just want the Luke and Ahsoka show for a fucking season. Just having them talk and sharing stories and figuring out how the fuck they got to this point.
What I think is better is that what happens right immediately after this is, you know, Luke is kind of in this position of like, oh, well, you know, he's portraying himself more as like the master, and then he shifts from that to, I don't know what to do with him.
Right.
Thing. Like he has that uncertainty.
Right. He has to be that master in front of Grogu.
Right.
But when it's just like him and Ahsoka on the side, it's like, fuck, I don't know.
Like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Right.
Yeah.
And he knows that basically he's, so what I got out of that scene was he's acknowledging that Ahsoka is a far more mature and accomplished Jedi, right? This is somebody who was traditionally trained.
That she was trained at the academy.
And by her father, his father.
Yeah.
And left the order. I'm sure he knows that she left the order at some point.
Yeah.
But he also knows that while he may have more ability in the Force, but she is more mature in the Force, if that makes sense.
Yeah, more mature, has more training and experience.
So the fact that he's acknowledging that, and that she's in that role is that's what I like. I like the fact that they're acknowledging that. Like, not that he's like, oh, I'm Jedi Master Luke, blah, 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 blah. It's more like, fuck, I'm the young guy in this scenario. Like, she's the old wizened one.
Yeah, I mean, and if realistically, if they're going to start a new academy, she should be the one in charge. Right. Quite frankly, just based on experience and previous training.
She doesn't want anything to do with it.
No, she's clearly got an agenda of her own.
Right.
We have a new Patreon supporter. I just got a text, and that would be Mr. Don Solsky. Thank you, sir.
Woohoo!
You are the best.
Ack, ack! I don't snap.
You act.
I'll give axe. I will give celebratory axe. So, ack, ack, ack! What was that echo?
I heard that echo.
Wow.
Did that come from your laptop?
I must have.
That's funny.
It's
Okay, anyway, moving on. Ahsoka takes her leave of Luke. He's like, will I ever see you again? And she's like, perhaps. It's like, oh, you're killing me.
Yeah.
Killing me. Back to Tatooine. Now we've got like the meeting of the minds. We've got fucking everybody from Book of Boba Fett. Remember this was a show about Boba Fett?
Yeah, remember?
And Black Kyrgyzstan and like the fucking Power Rangers and all that?
Yep.
They're all back. Finally.
back in Mos Espa.
Yeah, meanwhile, Mando shows up as they're giving this fucking briefing, and they're like, well, we got some strength, but we still need numbers. And Mando's like, I know somebody.
Where do they think? All right. I feel like their whole idea of like even the numbers, what they know that the Pikes are like flying people in from everywhere, and these are like not that they're a trained army, but they're going to have resource, right?
Oh,
they're going to be like,
well, clearly they have money to spread around to certain individuals that we'll talk about here in a minute.
yeah. So I just don't. There's like a. I don't even know how to describe it, but I feel like there's.
Well, my question is, what was Plan A? Before Din Djarin walked into the room and said, I know somebody where we might be able to get some numbers, what was Plan A before that?
I don't know, get into Slave One and fly the fuck out of there. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I just don't understand what the. Even with getting the fucking people, from the Sarlacc, or whatever the town is with the marshal.
Mos Pelgo? Well,
Pelgo.
Freetown.
Freetown. Yeah, sorry.
Formerly Mos Pelgo.
So even with those people, I still don't know what that type of thing
Freetown
goes into. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I just feel like the numbers are underwhelming.
Oh yeah, because before Mando rolled in, they had like what 8 people.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a scene from the Three Amigos, right? You're gonna have like you're gonna start dressing people up like people who can fight and have them like popping up out of fucking windows and shit.
What a movie!
That is a great.
Oh,
movie.
I fucking loved the Three Amigos. I had it on VHS. It was like the second VHS I ever owned.
Oh, dude,
like me personally.
Yeah, that is it's a classic. Yeah. I love that movie. That's a great fucking movie.
But back to Mando. He goes and finds Cobb Vanth. He lands his fucking little shithead sheriff, who apparently is very attractive, according to a woman that I know. Apparently, she thinks both Cobb Vanth and his fucking dead deputy are quite the lookers.
Well, you don't have to worry about the dead deputy because he's fucking done.
Yeah.
Like you knew right away.
Oh yeah, as soon as he landed, it's like, oh yeah, this guy's gonna die.
Yeah, he's dead. Yeah. Like this guy does not have much of a role. This is a red shirt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And essentially, Mando recruits Cobb to join, or at least he says he's going to start gathering the townsfolk. And like as soon as fucking Mando takes off, you see the wind blow like a wind chime, like it's like an eerie silence except for the wind blowing. Cobb looks over and you see a fucking figure in the distance walking towards the town. You're like. And at this point, as we're watching the episode, you got to remember, my mind is like still fucking racing from the Luke and the Grogu and the Ahsoka shit.
Right.
And then I see this figure walking. I'm like, what the fuck else are they going to do in this episode?
Yeah.
Like, that's literally what I said as we're watching this the first time. Like, what the fuck else are they going to do in this episode? And yeah, they had not even the last big moment in this. But
oh, yeah. This is, but wait, there's more.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We see Cad motherfucking Bane walking up. That guy.
This motherfucker right here.
Who we last saw in the Bad Batch when he kidnapped fucking Omega for an episode. Omega. Yeah, the baddest fucking gunslinger in the galaxy. And, dude, if you thought his CG version looked cool, his live action version looks fucking.
They did a fantastic
vicious.
Job. They did a fantastic job. Which, okay, now here's a blue skinned, red eyed dude.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Thrawn's gonna look pretty fucking good when he shows up too.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Spoiler alert! If that, it's not a spoiler. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but
yeah, it's been teased. But we know he's gonna show up in Ahsoka for sure.
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah, but yeah, he looks fucking menacing as fuck in this live action version. He looks like so much more scary than he did in the fucking animated shows.
Facts.
And we have this crazy fucking stare down with him and Cobb Vanth and the fucking idiot deputy. And basically, Cad Bane was like, we'll match whatever they're going to pay you, just don't do anything. Because it's clear that he's working for the Pikes.
Right.
And big showdown, and fucking he guns both Cobb Vanth and the deputy down. Now, Cobb only takes one. If you slow it down, he only takes a shot in the shoulder.
Right.
And he fucking falls. Deputy, he takes like 6 slugs to the chest. He's like fucking done. But Cobb, and they even as the people in the bar come out and are tending to him, they're like, get it back to spray and all that. So we're led to believe that he's still alive.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like they were like, okay, one shot, all the shots to the deputy. So like, okay, deputy fucking dickhead is dead.
Right. And I mean, Cobb has become a pretty popular character.
Oh yeah.
Amongst the masses lately. So
I'll bet you there's a reason too. I bet you there's a reason that he went for the shoulder shot, because obviously Cad Bane could have had the kill shot there, right?
Yeah, just like one to the dome and call it good.
Right. You know, it could 2 to the body, 1 to the head.
Yeah.
makes your enemy dead. I feel like that there's some sort of reason there, but that we'll find later.
Do a lethal blow,
yeah.
maybe.
But what really makes me wonder is like I want to see these two just straight like at high noon fucking gunfight without Deputy Dipshit fucking getting in the way.
But I mean, tell me this wasn't like ripped straight from a fucking Western.
Oh,
this
God,
whole like 5-minute sequence
Yeah.
of Cad Bane walking up, and again you get the side shot of their fucking legs and their holsters and their
Yep.
guns, and they're just standing there
dust.
waiting to fucking draw.
Yeah, the dust blowing by and fucking the fucking chaps, like there's no horses. Why are you fucking wearing these pants for?
Yeah.
Like it was fantastic. It was really, really good. I was not expecting Cad Bane.
Yeah. Oh, me
At
either.
all.
Yeah.
At all. I mean, once you saw the profile, you're like, holy fuck, it's Cad Bane.
Yeah, I couldn't tell in the first shot, but then in the second shot, because like it was like 3 or 4 shots of him getting closer and closer and closer. It'd go from the figure to Cobb to the figure to Cobb. It was like the second or third shot when you could see the hat, and you're like, ooh, I know who that is.
I feel like I picked, like, because the first shot when he's looking out in the distance and you could see it was only one person.
Yeah.
In my mind, it was like, that's Cad Bane. It's gotta
Oh,
be.
you immediately knew?
Well, because who else would present that way, right? This is like thinking Western style. Like who else is gonna like kind of walk into town that way?
Yeah.
Right. And then it just got like more and more pronounced as it came in. It's fucking phenomenal. I know Swede. Swede's in there. He was talking today at work. His wife didn't understand why he was freaking the fuck out like,
When he saw Cad Bane.
Yeah, when he saw Cad Bane, because it was this episode of like, oh my god, look who it is.
Yeah.
Right. It just absolutely fucking bonkers that we've been so just fire hosed with all these characters.
Yeah. And you would think that after this Cad Bane scene that we'd be done, right?
No, but wait,
No.
there's more.
Yeah. Then all of a sudden, we're in Garza Fwip's fucking cantina, right? Where you got your hot Twi'leks all roaming around, and you got a couple of pikes show up.
Sad face.
Yep. A couple pikes show up. Garza's like kind of whispering to her people. They offer to clean their helmets. Clean their helmets.
Yeah.
And they're like, nah, no thanks. They leave their coin canister there. They walk out real quick, and it's like, uh-oh. And the fucking droid's like, oh, you forgot your...
You knew exactly what that was. As
Yeah.
soon as, and this is the moment, right? Right when this happened for me, before the thing exploded. This for me was like, now it's turning into a fucking mob movie.
Yeah.
Right? Now it's turning into like, we're kind of bouncing around into it, like with family and like now the syndicate stuff and everything else. The Western stuff is kind of almost like the side quest.
Yeah.
But the syndicate stuff and how this is going, even the way the stuff is shot, now it's a mob movie because boom, it's gonna blow up probably one of the prime, money makers in the fucking town.
Yeah, and not to mention like one of the hottest women on the planet, probably.
Sad face.
Rest
in peace.
Now,
we didn't see her blow up. I mean, maybe she could have lived.
I think you're wishful thinking. But you know who we didn't see in that cantina at all during this scene was one Max Rebo. People, after going back and rewatching, you see the fucking the one flute player guy from the Mos Eisley cantina. You see the fucking the drummer droid, but you never see Max Rebo. And most people think that was deliberate, that they pan across and you never saw him. So hopefully he survived yet another disaster and will end up popping up somewhere else.
Like in the fucking Robot Chicken where he's like walking away from the fucking sail barge, like, because he was late to the fucking gig. I gotta get to the gig, man. Like what was called a stereotypical fucking jazz musician.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man. Gotta go to the gig, man. Come on again. Gotta go to the gig, man.
Yep.
Oh, gotta go get the gig, man.
And you're like, oh, man, well, now this has got to be it, right? They fucking blow up the cantina. Lots of important people dead. But no, we have one more scene.
But wait, there's more.
There is more. And it's another scene back with Luke and fucking Grogu. Luke reveals what the fucking gift was from the Mandalorian. It's this tiny little chainmail shirt.
Right.
Like Beskar chainmail. And he sets it down. He's like, this was from your friend, the Mandalorian. Or
Right.
if you choose to train with me, I'll give you this. And he pulls out the fucking tiny lightsaber and he's like, this belonged to my master Yoda. And he gives him the option. So there's a lot to unpack with the Yoda lightsaber part. But at the end of the day, he's basically telling him, like, you can give into attachment, take the thing from Mando and go back with him, or you can choose to stay with me, be the first student in my academy, and learn the ways of the Jedi. Again, forcing him to make that choice.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating because we know that there was at least one Mandalorian Jedi out there. Why can't he be both? But again, Luke, he doesn't know any better, so he's trying to stick to the old ways, and he's now forcing this choice on Grogu.
Yeah.
And that's where we ended the fucking episode.
Yeah, because even if Obi-Wan is still communicating with him, right? Or Yoda, they're telling him the same shit that they learned.
Right. Because they probably didn't think it was because of that. It's all Palpatine. It's all Palpatine's fault. Right. It has nothing to do. We did nothing wrong.
Right.
But it was just him. He was
right.
Caused all of the shit.
It was the system's fault.
Yeah.
It was the system.
Yeah.
It wasn't our fault. It was the system's fault.
Yep.
So you should do the same thing.
Right.
Obviously. Because it worked out. And then you should find more Jedi, more candidates and do the same thing, because that can't possibly fucking blow back up in your face.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when you get, your prepubescent nephew.
Right.
And you tell him, no attachments.
No attachments.
Put your dick away. You're never going to use it.
Even though your family and your mom, who is force sensitive but got laid and is attached to her husband and the rebellion and everything else, but you can't.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, and now this motherfucker having a bad dream. But that's a story for another day. And then, of course, we get the reveal, which you probably could have guessed at this point, directed by Dave Filoni. And this episode is not the sole reason, but it's just a reason amongst many why Dave Filoni should be in charge of fucking Star Wars. You don't have to give him all of Lucasfilm. In fact, I wouldn't want him to be in charge of all of Lucasfilm. Cunt Kennedy can keep everything else. She can run the Indiana Jones series. She can manage all the fucking comics and all the other shit. Just give control of Star Wars to Dave Filoni, please. He fucking knows how to write good stories, give great presentations, appease the fans, and not piss in our mouths, and still introduce new characters and, characters outside of the original trilogy that people love. I
don't disagree. I mean, the stories... when did Clone Wars first come out? When did the first Clone Wars stuff come out?
We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
I thought it was 08 or 09, something like that.
So you're talking... Let's assume it was 08.
Yeah. So
you're talking... At this point, 14 years of fucking experience doing Star Wars. Mm-hmm. That's a lot. And he was involved in it before. So you have somebody who's really experienced in the franchise, has now been a part of major successes within the franchise. There's no reason. This is like having your offensive coordinator, right? And you know what? It's time. It's time to make the offensive coordinator the fucking head coach. Mm-hmm. He's had his tryouts, he's fucking good to go. Let's make him a larger part of this creative element to make sure that this level of fidelity in our product is across the board.
Yep.
Not having a product that's going to be like Andor, where it's going to suck such giant donkey balls. And then
we don't know that yet.
Nobody's going to fucking watch it. Watching Inigo Montoya fucking and his, the only thing good about that show is going to be K2SO.
Hopefully he's in it.
And they'll manage to fuck that up, I'm sure. But, yeah, you have that piece of garbage. Or, you have what we have here with the hotness. Mm-hmm. So put him in charge. Make that fidelity go across all of these products. with somebody like that that's in charge.
Yeah.
Now, by doing that, does he have the time to creatively be involved in a lot of these shows? Is that a sacrifice we're willing to make?
Some of you may die,
Yeah,
but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
make.
I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is, but it's very clear that he understands the franchise. He understands the fans. He understands how to tell a good fucking story.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. If certain things that have been presented to us since the buyout were just good fucking stories and not just a bunch of bullshit, puked on screen, then we probably would have been happy with that. But we have another new patron.
Shut up.
Yeah, Nicholas Schaefer. Thank you. You are also the reason why we do this.
Eck, eck.
I love the echo when you do that so loud. But yeah, just give Dave fucking Star Wars. Let Kathleen run the rest of Lucasfilm. Just give all creative control of Star Wars, the actual Star Wars brand, to Dave, and life will be good.
Right, exactly.
And that is it for Mando. So, any predictions as to what we're going to see in the finale in 2 days?
Well, so I don't fucking know. Right? I put in the notes, one of the kids at work, one of the younger kids had said to me, I'll read the quote. He said, "Mr. Martin, do you think we'll see Boba Fett again during the Book of Boba Fett?" And he wasn't wrong.
Yeah, and that's been one criticism of these last 2 episodes is the people who wanted to see Boba Fett were kind of denied that. But I'm perfectly fine with the way things have unfolded up to this point.
I feel like there's a reason for it. I feel like there's a reason that we had to. Here's what I like about this, and then we'll get to answering the question. What I like about this is that with having the Mandalorian's story that would be happening parallel to this anyway, by breaking into the Book of Boba Fett and having these parallel stories told, we don't have to, in season 3, we don't have to talk about it.
Yeah.
We know what happened. We don't have to go back to it because we've seen it. We saw it in Book of Boba Fett, right? So we don't have to wonder what happened. It'll already have been done. Yeah. So what do I think we're going to see? I think we're going to see Cobb Vanth have a recovery. I think we're going to see the people and the townsfolk are going to rally.
Oh, yeah. You could tell just the look on that bartender's face after they got gunned down. It's like, oh, yeah, you're fucking done.
And I think what I don't think you're going to see is I don't think you're going to see this big showdown with the Pikes yet. I think that's going to be built up.
See, I feel like that's what we are going to see next week.
Really?
Yeah, or this week.
I feel like they're going to build it up for another season.
I feel like this whole Tatooine story is going to get resolved in this last episode.
You really?
I do, yeah, because what I think, or I guess maybe this is just wishful thinking, the Tatooine shit gets resolved. Fucking Boba wipes out the Pikes, basically gets the revenge for his Sand People, and now Boba and Mando and Fennec and whoever else now go off and continue the overall story of somebody taking back over Mandalore. I don't think it's just going to be Din Djarin going off on his own. I think Boba's going to come with him. I think they're going to have Grogu with him. And I think this Filoni Favreau verse that has been created, I think is going to continue with Boba there. Like, I don't think, let's just assume that this is the only season of Book of Boba Fett. I don't think that, it's the last we're going to see of Boba. I think he's going to be part of all of these continuing adventures, which is one of the reasons why they were so willing to backseat him for 2 episodes, because he's not going anywhere. At least that's what I think.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting, but I disagree. I think the Pike story this Pike storyline, I think it's too big to eliminate in one episode. Like even if you get, okay, how do we get the townspeople to to Jabba's palace, right? Or they're going to send a representative to Jabba's palace, and they're going to have them like blah 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 blah. And, we're here from, the Gregorian Guard's going to come out. They're going to have a shot where the eyeball comes out, and there's going to be some fucking sequence like that, and they're going to come in, and he's going to be like, hey, look, we're here to help, cool, and then they're going to have a montage, and I think they're going to investigate the bombing, right? I think there's going to be assassination attempts. I think you're going to get more mob style hits, and I think you're going to get like the Valentine's Day like assassination type things. I think a major character is going to die.
That I would agree with.
And I don't think that you'll have the final showdown with the Pikes. I don't think that this is going to be over in this episode.
Okay, and I personally feel like you're not a Lord of the Rings guy, but are you familiar with the Two Towers, the second movie, where basically they have to like hole up in this fort as like these waves and waves of fucking orcs are coming at them? I think that's what's going to happen in this episode. I think they're going to be, in Jabba's palace fighting off waves of fucking Pike soldiers. And that's basically how this is going to go down.
Doesn't seem like it makes much sense.
Yeah.
It's not very strategically effective.
No. But, I mean, they could just be forced into it, too. But I guess we'll see. Again...
Especially if you have a spaceship where you fly around and shoot motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Like, do you want to pile up out in front of my building? Oh, cool. Pew, 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 pew. Drop some fucking sonic bombs on them.
True.
Dump them into the Sarlacc pit. Like, oh, there you go.
Well, I was going to say, that there's no fucking way we don't see him riding the Rancor next episode.
Well, yeah, that's going to have to happen.
They've hinted at that. There's no fucking way he doesn't ride the Rancor at least once.
Yeah.
In the finale. So,
but like I said, I think it's too much to try and close the loop on the Pike story.
Okay.
In this episode, I think there's going to be. My prediction is they don't close the loop on a Pike story. Whether that's not really a prediction. It can't be classified as a prediction, I guess. But I think you're going to see a major character die, either by assassination or in some sort of fight. I think you're going to see another crime element. I saw something online, like just ever so briefly, where they were talking about like one of the Black Suns or some other crime syndicate.
True, yeah, because we've got Black Sun out there, we've got Crimson Dawn out there, so we don't know how they tie into any of this.
So I'm thinking teaming up with another, like, okay, here's a big character, like, is going to show up.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you thought that these people were fucking big? Wait till you see this.
Yeah.
And fucking jump out. And what I don't think you're going to see is the decision on Grogu. I don't think you're going to get that this episode. I think they're going to save that for Mandalorian.
They better have already had the next season of either Mandalorian or Boba Fett or whatever the fuck.
I think the stories are. I'm willing to bet that the storyline is written. Like,
I don't want to have to wait like a year and a half to fucking see that come to fruition. Like, I want it now.
Yeah, I agree.
But at least, and that's the thing too about these episodes, and if nothing else, they gave us a couple episodes of Mando and Grogu, so that we didn't have to wait 2 or more years between the last time we saw them to when we see them again. So thank you for that, if nothing else. But all right, you got anything to close this out with? Any reads or whatnot?
No, I got Roe giving me shit for the fucking corners on the Red 5 network logo.
Oh. Well, while you're looking at that, next week, Monday, a week from today, is the 30th anniversary of a little movie called Wayne's World.
Oh, God.
And we will be talking Wayne's World in our next episode because huge part of our teenage years. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I can't wait. I haven't seen this movie all the way through in probably 20 years.
So we talked about potentially doing a Friday live show for
the finale.
For the finale.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to try and still push for that. It may be remote.
That's fine. Because if the finale is explosive as we think it might be, then we're going to need to talk about it.
Yeah, so there may be a special airing an extra episode on Friday.
So yeah, keep an eye on the socials. Lunar Girl will update you as she gets information. Again, the choke point is with us. And when we give her that information, but
exactly. It's never Lunar Girl. Trust us, it's always us.
But yeah, so we may do like a Friday episode to wrap up Book of Boba Fett. But no matter what, next Monday, the 14th, Valentine's Day, we are talking about Wayne's World.
Wayne's World, part-time, excellent. I don't know if I'm gonna have the costume ready by then.
That's fine. We don't need costumes.
Yeah, if it wasn't there wasn't so much Star Wars happening right now, then I would.
Yeah,
like, ugh.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah,
but yeah, I cannot wait to talk about Wayne's World. I can't wait to sit down and watch it all the way through again. Because, like I said, I probably haven't. I've seen clips here and there, but I haven't watched the whole movie start to finish in like 20 years at least.
Really? That long?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Not even on the jet. I had it on my.
I don't think so.
I think Wayne's World was one of the DVDs on my my jet collection.
No, I don't think so.
Huh.
And I'm probably gonna make my kids watch it. Honestly, like I think it's time because they're all in high schoolish age.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So
there's enough potty humor. They'll
get
a kick out of it.
Yeah, no, it's good shit. Though they'll probably miss a lot of the references.
Delaware.
Hi, I'm in Delaware.
Hey, I'm in New York. I've got a gun. Let's go to a Broadway show.
Oh God, I can't wait. So that's coming next week. No more Red 5 news or anything?
I got all kinds of shit to read.
All right, well then why don't you do it?
I have to exit out of this though, so I'm going to. No, don't click that, Dave. Jesus Christ.
Riveting for the audio audience.
In case you missed it, Lunar Girl is repping the sidebar this past Friday on the Science Fictionary podcast.
Wait, she is repping or she already repped?
In case you missed it, Lunar Girl was repping the sidebar this past Friday. I used like two.
But you said is repping, which means she has yet to rep.
In case you missed it, Lunar Girl was repping the sidebar. But
that's not what you said the first time.
This past Friday, we can replay the audio.
And the video. We've got them both.
In case you missed it, Lunar Girl was repping the sidebar this past Friday on the Science Fictionary podcast. She'll be back on their panel again this Friday at 9:30 p.m. to discuss the Book of Boba Fett series finale.
Oh. At the same time that we're
not going at 9:30.
Oh, yeah, no, fuck no.
Yeah, you won't be up that late. It'll be much sooner than that. Okay. Probably closer to 5:30. 6
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. But it being Star Wars Podcast Day, this day, February 7th, the 23rd anniversary of Star Wars Podcast Day. 3PO. Your Star Wars Day podcast live stream lineup on YouTube, all Eastern Standard Time. At 2000, you have Red 5 Network Star Wars Podcast Day Hangout with the Red 5 family, which it is. We might still be able to make that. We got some more commitments after we're done with the show here, and we're gonna have our world premiere episode of our overtime show.
Yep.
Immediately following it. Well, not immediately following, but anyway. Also at 8:00. With War of the Stars, the expectations of Star Wars fans. Another good one. Like, I honestly, not going to be able to obviously dial into that live just because, but expectations of Star Wars fans is a hot topic because we have a lot of expectations.
Yeah.
And
yeah, we had them lowered for quite a while, but Favreau and Filoni have re-raised those expectations.
But the Star Wars expectations are such a personal thing, too.
True.
Right? We happen to be on the same wavelength for our Star Wars fandom, right?
Yep.
Hence, being able to do all this and do a show about it, and fucking have the sacred Jedi texts,
sacred texts,
and fucking everything else. But not everybody is on the same wavelength, so we're really fortunate. But yeah, that'd be a good show. So War of the Stars at 2000 tonight. The expectation of Star Wars fans at 2200. Scarif Scuttlebutt does an interview with actor John Tague. I don't know who that is.
Spell it.
Tague.
Tague. John Tague.
Yes.
All right, keep reading.
I'm distracted. I'm looked at the screen. On the screen right now, I have our Discord server, right, in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the Katy Perry Elmo meme that I posted. So I'm like looking straight at Katy Perry's tits with Elmo trying to grab them. Yeah, so I was a little distracted. Anyway, who's John Teague?
He's done a lot of stuff.
Sweet. So tune into that at 2200 tonight on the Scarif Scuttlebutt. Also at 2200 on WSTR Media, the music of John Williams prequel trilogy. Fucking love John Williams. Have I mentioned that before?
I think you have.
Have I mentioned that before? If you're playing the drinking game, which sadly we are not imbibing alcohol at this time, but you at home should be. And if you're playing in a drinking game, you have to log into our socials, which I'll mention later, and find out what the drinking game is. But yes, I do heart John Williams very, very much. Mm-hmm. And WSTR Media will be covering the music of John Williams prequel trilogy with guest Cam Ray. So tune into that.
I know that guy.
And at midnight, the Salty Nerd podcast will be doing SMP Late Night. Don't Look Up. Explained with astrophysicist Dr. Thomas Target. That sounds amazing. I wish I could fucking stay up for that. Mm-hmm. But it's a podcast. You know what the beauty of podcasts are?
You can listen to them later.
You can. You can download your favorite podcast and listen to it later.
Unless Spotify removes certain episodes, but that's a conversation for another time.
It is indeed. The Red 5 Network, though, has 34 amazing podcasts. There's literally something for every personality. Browse through bio.link/red5. That's bio.link/red, the number 5. Or shoot Lunar Girl a DM on any of our socials.
You really emphasize the shoot Lunar Girl. I'm like, whoa.
Shoot Lunar Girl a DM on any of our socials. She can suggest something that you absolutely love that is perfect for you because she knows these podcasts like the back of her fucking hand. Mm-hmm. Trust us.
Hell, she's probably been on most of them at this point.
I'll bet. I love it. She's the best. Cantina Family Happenings, the Use and Abuse podcast, has taken another week off to revamp their studio. I know they ordered some equipment.
Nice.
So stay tuned for that. Revisit some of their past episodes on YouTube and audio for Use and Abuse podcast. ATSW Escape Pod has a bug problem. Would you like to hear more?
Oh,
do you get it?
Starship Troopers.
You get it?
Gotcha.
Ironically, I actually had a Starship Troopers. Do you want to hear more? Like Doogie Howser. Like I had the Doogie Howser picture, but it said, "Do you want to know more, or do you want to hear more?" I put that. It was like my last slide for the thing I briefed today. Yeah. And I guarantee you, probably 3/4 of that audience is too young for Starship Troopers. Which is amazing.
It was like 97 or 98.
The amount of tits and ass in that fucking movie. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. Anyway, ATSW Escape Pod, they're going to be covering. Join Don Della Snooch, Brady Big Lovin', and Dragon Buddy in their live chat on YouTube Wednesday night at 19:05 Eastern as they discuss the cult classic Starship Troopers. The Orange and Fett Show released episode 14, Spider-Man No Way Home, last week. Subscribe to them on Spotify and give it a listen and be notified of upcoming releases. Sweet Studios just completed a massive overhaul of the studio, so no new tunes.
Everybody doing overhauls of their studios.
Yeah, we should be doing that as well.
Yep.
Follow him on Discord and Instagram for future announcements. As soon as Jason can walk again, we'll fucking be doing an update in our studio. As far as us, you can find us at bio.link/the Sidebar Cantina. We have all of our socials in there. We have our YouTube, our audio, our Patreon, our Spotify music mixtapes, and all of our social media platforms, including Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, Discord, and TikTok.
Yep.
This new edition where you get clips of, Jason making my head explode in a weird clip, which I still don't understand what was going on there, or me going, ack, 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 for no real reason, except for the chat told me to. So yeah, Also in the bio link is our T Public merch shop where you can find t-shirts, hoodies, and a wide variety of designs, sizes, and colors for the entire family. There are also Sidebar Cantina face masks, tote bags, phone cases, exclusive stickers, and pins. Just about anything you can imagine.
Are you singing right now?
Please tag us with your merch so Lunar Girl can
Please
share
tag
it.
us with your merch.
Share it on socials. Reviews. Please write us a 5-star review. I think she's actually like she knows now that if she puts it in all caps, I'll yell it. So she's not doing that. Reviews. Please write us a 5-star review on your favorite podcasting app. Screenshot it and DM us the pic on Instagram or Twitter. Lunar Girl will mail you some Sidebar Cantina sticker swag, and we will read your review word for word on our next episode. As an added bonus, if you post your review on Twitter, Instagram, and tag us and the Red 5 Network, you will receive an official Red 5 Network button pin. And that is that. There's a lot of stuff, especially because it's Star Wars Podcast Day.
Yep. It's a great day. And again, keep an eye out on the socials for when we're going to do our Book of Boba Fett season wrap-up. It's going to be kind of a last-minute deal based on our schedules, but we are going to do it before next Monday, so keep an eye out for that. Wayne's World next week. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, everybody who's still in the chat. We're going to have a quick after show before we switch over to the OT.
That's right. World premiere.
And we'll talk about that during the after show. But until next time, Dave and everybody else, may the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you. Well,
Oh, and that's how we're going to end it. Fuck, I got to get my USB stick. All right. While I'm doing all this, why don't you explain to the people what the OT is exactly?
So before we do that, I got to try and get my laptop back online.
Oh, it's still down.
It's been frozen the whole time. That's what I've been
234.
That's what I've been dicking around with over here.
Okay.
All right, I got it back up.
All right. Can you
That it only took that? I could have done that fucking an hour ago. Shit, 2 hours ago. Fucking hell.
I need to get the USB stick from inside, but again, explain to the people what the OT is while I'm doing this.
There he goes.
Shut up.
Let's see. Everyone watch. Everyone watch. Ready? I'm gonna duck down so you can see. It looks like he shit his pants. That's how he's walking.
He absolutely did.
I hate you both.
He probably did shit his pants. He's wearing a giant diaper. So, for those of you who are still watching, I just snapped. No snaps. So, those of you who are watching, it's a shortened version of the after show just because we want to do the OT. Jason and I, we love football, but at the same time, we don't want to spend we don't want to spend a lot of time during the show talking about football when the topic doesn't really cover it, and quite frankly, a lot of our audience really isn't into it anyway. So what we decided to do is just do a separate fucking show for it's just going to be football. So, and we're calling it the OT for overtime. And what we'll be doing is unplugging this for some reason. I don't know why I'm choosing to do that now, but yeah, so we're going to start a whole separate stream. It'll be a separate show on the YouTubes. And yeah, Joker Voice Pro Bowl was yesterday in your hometown. That's awesome. I wish I had saw the the skills challenge and stuff like that, but I don't fucking pay for ESPN, so I didn't get a chance to watch any of that bullshit. Yeah, so we're gonna do all our football talk and everything in one overtime period. So we're gonna start the clock. Basically start the stream, start the clock 15 minutes, and talk about football for 15 minutes, and then that's it. So it'll be a short show, but it'll give us an opportunity to get the football out of our system and not muck up the primary stream with a lot of football stuff for people that don't really like it. So, what's so funny?
Probably Jason walking.
Oh. Did you post the video, the other video?
I should. No, I will.
I would put it, just put it in the Discord though.
Okay.
That way it's not, too terribly public.
Here he comes. You can hear him trudging. There you are.
Wow, he's hauling ass right now.
Ben was in the bathroom. I had to wait. Shut up.
This is what happens when you skip leg day for 7 months, people.
Yes. Apparently you can't get it all back in one day.
So apparently, Joker Voice is saying 2 hours after the Pro Bowl, Alvin Kamara got arrested on assault charges.
I did see that. You mean a pro football player who's a millionaire who was in Las Vegas on a free trip, got in trouble with the law? No. And to be fair, if I was a millionaire, there's probably a pretty good chance I would be arrested in Vegas at some point in my life. That's just the way it is.
I wonder what fantasy implications that has.
Because of the implication.
That's what I worry about. I don't give a shit.
Well, you understand the season's over, right?
Well, I'm thinking about next year. What if something lingers? Like, what if it's a Ray Rice situation?
So you just don't draft him and you draft somebody else.
Yeah, but the running back position. We're talking about football and we're not even in the OT thing yet.
All right, well, why don't you save that then? All right, did you explain to everybody what the OT is? It's going to be a separate video on YouTube and everything?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
So we're going to make a separate stream. And, oh, damn it, Dave. Fuck.
What are you doing?
Well, I'm double checking the fucking line. And why is it relevant? 5 minutes ago, package arrived from Kyrgyzstan. Been to Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah.
Several times, actually.
Wait, a package got to your house from Kyrgyzstan?
Stone Bleeds says.
Oh.
He ordered from Amazon. Cheap electronic parts. And it just showed up.
Maybe you got a drone you can just go poke it with a little bit first, just to be sure.
It's Kyrgyzstan. It's not fucking. Anything in China is going to be more fucking dangerous than that.
Yeah.
I can't see out of my left eye. Is that a problem? Is that weird?
That's not normal, that's for sure. All right, are we ready to get this started? In here.
All right. You get the prop up for your laptop.
Oh yeah. But I do have to end the current stream in order to set up the stream for the next thing.
That's actually correct. And I'm going to have to pee in between that. So.
All right. So we're ending this stream. Anybody who wants to tune into the OT, just go back to our YouTube channel and you'll see the new video pop up fairly quickly.
Yep.
All right. So we'll see you there, guys.